Chapter 1375. At that moment, the octadic treasure chessboard in front of them suddenly emitted a dazzling light, forming 8 flickering patterns in all directions. Soon, a low voice sounded in everyone's ears. As the voice fell, the octadic treasure chessboard in front of them changed. Black and white chess pieces appeared on the crisscrossing chessboard. Everyone held their breaths as their eyes shone with a fiery light. The most crucial moment had finally arrived. Although most of them were unable to participate, it was worth it to be able to see a battle between geniuses. At that moment, Elder Linghu also appeared in the void. He looked down and said coldly, "Now, the octadic treasure chessboard begins. All geniuses, please enter." Nangong Hao, second division leader of the Divine Pill Hall, Qiannan position. As his voice fell, Nangong Hao's face was filled with arrogance as he strode forward. Blood Hand, first division leader of the Blood Fiend Hall, Kuan North position. Blood Hand was dressed in a blood-red robe. His expression was incomparably cold, and his body was surrounded by a blood-red aura. He was like a god of death as he came to the north. Gui Li, first division leader of the Malicious Ghost Hall, Li Dong position. Dressed in a black robe, Gui Li's face was pale, and his eyes were emitting a dark green light. In a flash, he arrived above the octadic treasure chessboard and looked down. Pink family, Yu Luosha, Kuan West position. Yu Luosha was dressed in a pink dress and wore a charming posture as she floated above Purple Demon Hall. First Division leader Zi Yang, DUI Southeast position. Zi Yang's face was solemn as he flew forward like a purple ray of light. Assassination Hall, First Division leader Wu Ying, Zun Northeast position. As his voice fell, a figure had already appeared above the octadic treasure chessboard. It was Wu Ying. He was like a ghost, and no one knew how he appeared. Black Wind Hall, First Division leader Feng Hyuri, Sun Southwest position. It was a woman. She was dressed in black armor and had a sharp aura around her. She did not appear much before, but now that she appeared, her powerful aura suppressed everyone. Buzz, like a black hurricane, she quickly arrived above them. Her powerful aura was like an invisible wave that swept in all directions. Last person, Southern Ancient Town, Guyuan, Gen Northwest position. As her voice fell, a handsome young man appeared before everyone. His aura was very powerful. He had also reached the 9th heaven of the Venerable Realm. His eyes were like lightning, and his aura was no weaker than that of the previous geniuses. He was from the southern desolate ancient town, the city lord's mansion. Gu Yuan laughed coldly and also strode into the formation. At this point, the 8 positions on the octadic treasure chessboard were all filled with people. Beneath their feet, 8 rays of light flickered. On the chessboard in front of them, there were different black and white chess pieces floating, shining with a strange light. However, the octadic treasure chess game did not begin immediately. Instead, Elder Linghu announced loudly, "The previous 8 people are the 8 representatives that we have chosen. They are the strongest geniuses of the younger generation. However, there are many hidden dragons and crouching tigers in our saint sect. We don't know all of them. So if anyone wants to participate in the octadic treasure chess game, you can step forward now. Every martial artist has one chance to challenge the 8 people on the stage. However, I would like to give everyone a word of advice. The challenge is dangerous. If you are killed in the process, we will not intervene. I hope that everyone will be cautious. Of course, the entire challenge process only lasted for 30 minutes. After that, the octadic treasure chess game would begin. As soon as Elder Linghu finished speaking, someone below lit a stick of sandalwood. Immediately, smoke rose into the air. After the initial shock, the surrounding martial artists fell silent. Pairs of eyes scanned the 8 geniuses in front of them. However, no one dared to make a move. To be honest, the 8 people in front of them were basically the strongest of the younger generation of the Black Dragon sect. Among them, there were 6 top geniuses of the hall. One of them was from the pink aristocratic family. The other was from the city lord's mansion. The 2 of them had powerful auras. They had reached the 9th heaven of the venerable realm at such a young age. They were definitely not weaker than any of the geniuses. As for the other 2 halls, Lin Xian had killed many of the Azura Hall's martial artists. However, their main forces had yet to arrive. Therefore, no outstanding geniuses had appeared. The most puzzling one was the Nether Hall. Although the Nether Hall was the weakest force among the 8 halls, they should have 1 or 2 outstanding martial artists. However, there seemed to be no sign of the Nether Hall in the entire convention. Although everyone was puzzled, they did not suspect anything. After all, they would never believe that the Nether Hall had been destroyed. Although there was a chance to challenge them, the convention was eerily quiet. No one went up. Nangong Hao had his hands behind his back. He looked arrogant and did not even look at the crowd. He knew that no one dared to challenge him. Yu Luosha's eyes were like hooks as she smiled at the crowd below. No one came out? That's really disappointing. Ghost Li also let out a cold laugh. Is there really no one who came out to challenge me? I still want to add a few more souls to my white bone banner. Hearing this, everyone trembled. Judging from the other party's appearance, if they really challenged him, they would probably be killed in an instant. Even their souls would not be able to enter the cycle of reincarnation. Although everyone was afraid, after the silence, someone still made a move. It was a young man with a determined expression. He was tall and straight and wore a red robe. However, he was not from the Blood Fiend Hall. He used to be from a 5th grade sect, the Heavenly Fire sect. However, he had now joined the Black Dragon sect. The young man held a pair of fiery red rings in his hands and strode forward. Guakai. It's actually him. It was a young man with a determined expression. He was tall and straight and wore a red robe. However, he was not from the Blood Fiend Hall. He used to be from a 5th grade sect, the Heavenly Fire sect. However, he had now joined the Black Dragon sect. The young man held a pair of fiery red rings in his hands and strode forward. Guakai. It's actually him. He used to be from the Heavenly Fire sect. He can be considered a genius. I wonder who he wants to challenge? Many people's eyes flickered. They were very excited. Seeing that someone had come out, the people on the octatic treasure chessboard all looked down. Suddenly, Guakai felt a terrifying pressure pressing down on him. It was as if he was going to be crushed. He shouted coldly and quickly circulated the spiritual power in his body. Only then did he block the 8 gazes. Humph! Nangong Hao sneered and shook his head. He no longer paid attention. He could see that the other party also used a fire attribute cultivation technique. However, compared to his, the other party's flames were not worth mentioning. Therefore, he was not interested at all. Guakai naturally knew his own strength. Therefore, he challenged Ghost Li. This was because he cultivated a fire attribute cultivation technique. It was extremely strong and yang. On the other hand, Ghost Li cultivated the Ghost Dao. It could be said that it was extremely cold and was perfectly restrained by flames. Therefore, Guakai wanted to give it a try. Chapter 1376. Guakai naturally knew his own strength, which was why he challenged Ghost Li. That was because he cultivated a fire elemental cultivation technique, which was extremely yang. On the other hand, Ghost Li cultivated the Ghost Dao, which was extremely cold and was perfectly countered by flames. In other words, among the 8 geniuses above, only Ghost Li had the opposite attribute to him. This was also his only chance. That was why Guakai wanted to give it a try. Seeing that he was going to be challenged, Ghost Li immediately sneered and let out a chuckle. 2 balls of green flames danced in his eyes as he stared at Guakai below. Peak 8th, Rank supremacy? Not bad, not bad. It seems that you can strengthen my white bone banner again. His voice was filled with coldness and confidence. In his opinion, the other party was a delicious delicacy that could strengthen his white bone banner. That was all. Many people trembled when they heard this, and fear appeared on their faces. However, Guokai snorted coldly. Since he had already decided to challenge, he did not hesitate. In the next moment, an unparalleled power erupted from his body. It was incomparably hot, and his entire body was like a god of fire, extremely dazzling. The terrifying heat wave was like a tide that slapped in all directions, immediately causing everyone to retreat in shock. That aura was very terrifying. Although it was slightly inferior to the geniuses above, it was far superior to the others. From this point, it could be seen that Guokai had the qualifications to challenge. Guokai held 2 red iron rings in his hands and quickly collided in the air. The red rings were very special. They were about the size of a bowl and were extremely red. There were strange inscriptions engraved on them. With a light wave, countless runes flashed and surrounded them. At a glance, one could tell that it was a treasure. Clang! The red rings collided with a crisp sound, as if metal had collided. Not only that, during the collision, countless flames converged and formed a flame lizard that quickly rushed forward. The lizard was very large, and its entire body was formed by flames. Its head was like a giant dragon's and was extremely ferocious. As soon as it appeared, it carried an extremely terrifying aura and quickly charged towards Ghostly. "Ha, you're too naive. Do you think that your little flames can suppress me?" Ghostly sneered. If it was Nangong Hao who attacked, then he would naturally have to go all out. However, the young man in front of him was only at the peak of the 8th rank supremacy. He was far inferior to him, so he did not take him seriously. He stretched out his palm, intending to grab something in front of him. Suddenly, the void cracked, and a huge white bone claw appeared out of thin air, quickly slapping forward. Pung! The claw landed on the gigantic flame lizard, shattering its head. Countless flames were torn apart and scattered all over the ground. Guokai's pupils shrank. He didn't expect his all-out attack to be countered so quickly. With a cold snort, his expression was incomparably gloomy as he decided to use his ultimate move again. However, Ghostly did not give him the chance. After his attack succeeded, he waved his hand, and a white bone banner appeared out of thin air. It immediately emanated an incomparably cold aura. Countless vengeful spirits and ghosts circled around it, a scene that would make one's scalp tingle. "Brat, since you dare to challenge me, then obediently become my soul." Ghostly Ning laughed. His pale, white hand grabbed the white bone banner and waved it forward. Instantly, countless vengeful spirits gathered, forming a huge skull that bit towards Guokai. "Damn it, Scram!" Seeing the skull rushing towards him, Guokai roared angrily. Flames bloomed all over his body, forming a flaming giant that blasted upwards. However, it was useless this time. The flames that he was so proud of had lost their luster at this moment. The white skull was extremely terrifying as it was not afraid of the flames. Not only that, the gloomy ghost aura on it quickly extinguished the flaming giant. "What? It's not afraid of the flames? How is that possible?" Guokai's pupils shrank. He didn't believe it at all because in his knowledge, ghosts were all afraid of flames. However, the current situation was the exact opposite. "Humph, ignorant fool. What do you know?" Ghostly sneered, then used his strength again. Instantly, the white skull enveloped Guokai. Countless miserable cries rang out, piercing through the heavens and earth. In an instant, Guokai was swallowed until not even his bones were left. His soul was also extracted and integrated into the white bone banner, forming another vengeful spirit. Ghostly smiled and waved his hand, retrieving the white bone banner. The soul of an eighth heaven supremacy. Not bad. Not bad. It's indeed delicious. Hearing those cold words, everyone's scalp tingled. Shocking. It was really too shocking. That was an eighth heaven supremacy martial artist, but he couldn't even withstand a single move. Could it be that these geniuses were already so powerful? Who else? Hurry up and come. Ghostly had tasted the sweetness and was naturally excited. His dark green eyes swept around, but no one dared to look at him. Everyone was speechless, and the scene was silent. After a moment of silence, another person walked out of the crowd. It was a burly man. He was 2 meters tall, and his body was as strong as an ox. His bronze skin shone with the radiance of strength under the sun. Chun Shan, eighth heaven supremacy, had boundless strength. The person he challenged was not Ghostly, but the first leader of the Ravengale Hall, Feng Huti. Seeing that it was not him, Ghostly snorted coldly, feeling extremely unhappy. When he saw that the other party was challenging Pink Butterfly, he immediately smiled sinisterly. I say, little butterfly, can you give me his soul later? Give it to you? Let you grow stronger? Humph! Feng Huti snorted coldly. Feng Huti, the first leader of the Ravengale Hall, was dressed in black armor. She was very beautiful, and there was a heroic spirit between her eyebrows. She held a black spear in her hand, and she looked like a black demon king. Her beautiful eyes were like lightning as she scanned the crowd, and she said coldly, I'll give you one chance to attack. I advise you to attack with all your strength because you only have one chance. Roar. Below, the burly man roared angrily, and instantly, a terrifying power surged out from his body. His body, which was originally 2 meters tall, suddenly grew taller and became a 3-meter giant. Not only that, but the muscles all over his body bulged, and fine scales appeared on the surface, covering his entire body in an instant. In an instant, the burly man had become an extremely sinister monster. With a roar, the air exploded. With a stomp of his foot, countless air waves suddenly exploded, and his body was like a cannonball, instantly shooting upwards. What terrifying power! He's already not weaker than a 9th heaven supremacy. Everyone was shocked, as they did not expect such an expert to be hidden in the crowd. However, looking at this scene, Feng Huti's delicate face was extremely cold. Then she held the black spear in her hand and stabbed it out. Chapter 1377. Looking at this scene, Feng Huti's delicate face was very cold. Then she held the black spear in her hand and stabbed it out. Puff! Blood spurted out, and the scene froze in midair. A 3-meter-tall giant with shocking power tore apart the sky and smashed the earth. It was extremely terrifying, and at this moment, it was pierced by a black spear and nailed to the void. Blood dripped down from the spear tip and fell to the ground, creating countless blood flowers. Humph! Feng Huti put away her spear, and the giant body fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. Silence, complete silence. Everyone was silent. They did not expect the first leader of the Ravengale Hall to be so powerful. One had to know that the other party did not reveal his strength at all. He did not even appear in front of everyone. But now, his attack was like thunder, shocking everyone. Not only the martial artists below, but even the other geniuses on the octatic treasure chest game were shocked. They did not expect that the Ravengale Hall, which had always kept a low profile, would have such a powerful figure. Ghostly's face was also ugly. His green eyes emitted a cold light. Soul Destroyer Spear. I did not expect you to have cultivated the Soul Destroyer Spear. He was simply too shocked because the soul of the dead man had been completely destroyed. There was nothing left of him at all. Only a soul attack could cause such damage. But the other party did not use any soul attack at all. She only used a spear. Other than the Soul Destroyer Spear, he could not think of any other spear technique. Quite a lot. But don't fight me when the time comes. Otherwise, I will destroy all your souls with one spear." Fong Huti snorted and put away her spear. Humph! Ghostly's face was cold. The other party's spear technique seemed to have restrained his souls. But if they really fought, he would not be afraid. With Ghost Lee and Fong Huti attacking one after another, they killed their opponents in one move. The scene once again fell into silence, and after this no one dared to challenge again. The 8 people on the stage were too powerful. They were not people they could compete with. Even the 8th High's Peak Venerable could not withstand one move. If they went up, they would only be courting death. Time passed slowly. The incense stick was about to burn out. But at this moment, a voice drifted over. "How could I miss out on such a grand occasion? Those 8 in the arena, if you don't want to die, give me a spot so that I won't start a massacre." Although this voice was light as a feather, it contained boundless arrogance, making one of the 8 Sky Prides on the stage withdraw. If this wasn't arrogance, then what was? Remember that the 8 people on stage were all top-notch Heaven's favorites. Nobody could fight against them. But now, there was someone who didn't care at all. He even dared to threaten them. This was beyond everyone's expectations. Therefore, in the next moment, everyone turned around, wanting to see which madman dared to say such a thing. However, when they saw the figure behind them, they were all stunned. Hua Wufeng? How could it be him? Isn't he dead? What's going on? Could it be that he's not dead? Everyone was extremely shocked because the person behind him was none other than Lin Xian. Of course, his current name was Hua Wufeng. Everyone cried out in surprise. They didn't expect that this incomparably arrogant devil would appear again. Thus, everyone automatically opened up a path. The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up as he strode forward. On the octatic treasure chessboard, Nan Gong Hao and the others were stunned when they saw this, especially Yu Luo Sha. Her beautiful eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. "What? Not dead? You're not dead? How is this possible? It's really you." Nan Gong Hao, Blood Hand, and the others were also extremely shocked. "Not dead. You're not dead." Yu Luo Sha recovered from her initial shock. Then, her delicate face was filled with viciousness. "Why didn't the 2 fire spirits come back? What did you do to them?" Yu Luo Sha shouted coldly. She finally knew why the fire spirits didn't come back. It was because they weren't dead. Hua Wufeng's appearance also meant that the fire spirit's assassination had failed. However, Lin Xian sneered. "Come back? The dead can't come back." "What? You killed them?" Hearing this, Yu Luo Sha was extremely shocked and screamed. She couldn't help it. She was too shocked because she didn't believe that someone from the younger generation could kill the fire spirits. At this moment, not only Yu Luo Sha, but Nan Gong Hao, Blood Hand, Ghostly, and the others were also shocked and couldn't believe it. Even they weren't confident that they could kill the fire spirits. However, Lin Xian had done it. This was indeed a huge blow to them. "Humph, don't be so arrogant. I don't know what tricks you used to kill the 2 fire spirits. However, since you dared to kill them, you're definitely dead. Just you wait. Once the octatic treasure chessboard is over, you won't be able to escape." Yu Luosha's face was filled with viciousness. The other Sky Prides were also filled with murderous intent because not only did Lin Xian snatch the Blood Soul Stone, he also snatched all the treasures that they had won, especially Nan Gong Hao, who had always been conceited and wanted to be above everyone else. However, Lin Xian had snatched his precious spiritual medicine. Wasn't that a slap to his face? At this moment, when he saw Lin Xian, his face was terrifyingly gloomy. Lin Xian didn't care about those murderous gazes. He looked to the front and said coldly, "If any of you retreat consciously, I can spare your lives. Otherwise, if I attack, I'm afraid you won't end up so well." "How dare you? How arrogant. Kid, you're too arrogant." The Sky Prides on Lin Xian's stage were going crazy. Meanwhile, The surrounding crowd was extremely shocked. Perhaps only Lin Xian dared to speak to the sky prides like that. Seeing that no one moved, Lin Xian's gaze was cold as he scanned the surroundings. Then he stretched out his finger. How about this? I'll challenge whoever I choose. Everyone was speechless. That was too arrogant. That was because the 8 people on the stage were all top-notch sky prides. Even if someone wanted to challenge them, they would have to combine their skills and see who they could restrain before making a move. However, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He even chose randomly. If that wasn't arrogance, then what was? Nan Gonghao and the others were infuriated by Lin Xian's actions, but no one said anything. That was because from what had happened before, Lin Xian's strength was definitely not weaker than theirs. At the very least, he could kill 2 fire spirits. One had to know that fire spirits were extremely special existences. They weren't humans in the first place, but were formed by flames. They didn't have a physical body and couldn't be killed by physical attacks. Soul attacks had no effect on them either. They couldn't figure out how Lin Xian had killed the fire spirits. However, they were certain that Lin Xian's strength was definitely not weaker than any of them. Therefore, facing Lin Xian's challenge, all of them were extremely nervous. I'll choose whoever Little Rooster points to. Lin Xian's finger pointed at the 8 people. His words made Nan Gonghao ghostly and the others' faces turned black. It's you. Finally, Lin Xian pointed at a figure. Chapter 1378. I'll choose whoever Little Rooster points to. Lin Xian pointed at the 8 people. His words made Nan Gonghao ghostly and the others' faces turned black. It's you. Finally, Lin Xian pointed at a figure. Who was it? Everyone craned their necks and looked carefully. What? It's him. Then a series of exclamations sounded. It was the first leader of the Purple Demon Hall, Ziyang. Seeing that Ziyang was chosen, Nan Gonghao and the others heaved a sigh of relief. The crowd was in an uproar. They didn't expect Lin Xian's final opponent to be Ziyang from the Purple Demon Hall. Ziyang, I didn't expect it to be him. He's an expert in soul power. His purple demon eyes are extremely strange. Although Hua Wufeng's combat strength was strong, his soul power didn't seem to be outstanding. Now that he's up against Ziyang, I'm afraid he'll be in trouble. Indeed, Lin Xian had only displayed his lightning and ice attributes. He hadn't displayed his soul power. Therefore, no one knew how strong Lin Xian's soul power was. Everyone had different expressions. Ziyang's face was even gloomier. He didn't expect that he would be the one to fight Lin Xian. Ziyang's face was extremely ugly. He didn't expect Lin Xian to choose him. In the next moment, everyone's eyes were on him, especially the other 7 geniuses on the platform. They were all looking at him with playful smiles on their faces. Feeling their gazes, Ziyang's face turned even gloomier. To be honest, the Purple Demon Hall wasn't the strongest in the Black Dragon sect. At most, it was a mid-tier hall. Compared to Blood Rogue, Nan Gonghao, and the others, he was slightly weaker. However, Lin Xian, who was in front of them, had dodged the encirclement of the elites from the various halls and had even killed 2 fire spirits. He knew that he couldn't achieve such a result. He was even more shocked when he saw that Lin Xian was full of energy. His aura was sharp and he didn't look tired at all. That was because he had sent an expert from the Purple Demon Hall yesterday. He was very proficient in illusions. Furthermore, that old man was a veteran of 100 battles. He would definitely find the best opportunity to strike. Even for geniuses like them, if they were to be ambushed, they would most likely fall for his illusions. At that time, although he would be able to escape, his soul power would definitely be severely damaged. Even if he didn't die, he would be severely injured. This was the power of the Purple Demon Hall. But now, it seemed that the other party had not received any damage at all. It was as if he had not been affected by the illusion. This caused Ziyang to be extremely shocked. He knew that there were only two possibilities. The first was that the other party was too terrifying, and the experts he sent out were killed before they could even use their illusions. If this was true, it meant that the other party's strength was far beyond his imagination. Even if he attacked with his full strength, he might not be able to resist. The second situation was that although the other party was hit by an illusion attack, they could easily break it, so they didn't suffer any injuries. If that was the case, it would be even more shocking. One had to know that the other party had already displayed a valiant fighting strength. If he also had an extremely strong soul force, then such a person would have no weakness. It could be said to be heaven-defying. Then it was even more impossible for him to attack. Because even if his illusions were stronger than the old man in purple robes, he might not be able to do anything to the other party. After thinking about it, Ziyang felt bitter because he realized that no matter what the situation was, the other party was stronger than him. If he attacked, he would lose without a doubt. Based on the other party's previous form, no one could escape unscathed. They were either humiliated by him or killed on the spot. Thinking of this, Ziyang took a deep breath. His face was terrifyingly dark. He didn't want to be killed by the other party, nor did he want to be pressed to the ground and kowtowed in front of everyone. Hence, he decided to retreat. There's no need to compete. I'll give you this position, Ziyang said in a low voice. Then his body swayed, and he left the octatic treasure chess game. What? He retreated? Seeing this scene, everyone was stupefied, not daring to believe it. I'm not dreaming. Am I? Ziyang actually took the initiative to retreat. Heavens! Has that Hua Wufeng become so terrifying? Even the top geniuses don't dare to fight him. He retreated without a fight. Is Ziyang crazy? Everyone exclaimed. They couldn't understand. The other 7 geniuses were also stunned. Even their minds were blank. That was Ziyang. He was a top genius just like them. Moreover, he specialized in illusion attacks. It was very strange and impossible to guard against. Even they had to be extremely careful against such a person. Originally, they wanted to use this battle to find out more about Lin Xian. However, they didn't expect Ziyang to retreat. Retreating without a fight. This was an outcome that they didn't expect at all. Damn it, what is Ziyang doing? Bloodhand said coldly, Humph, a piece of trash. Nangong House snorted in disdain. His expression was full of disdain. He ghostly laughed sinisterly. His eyes flickered. No one knew what he was thinking. The other geniuses had different expressions. However, without exception, their eyes were full of disdain. To them, Ziyang's actions were too cowardly. Not only did he embarrass the Purple Demon Hall, but he also embarrassed the entire Black Dragon sect. Damn piece of trash. He's as timid as a mouse. Such a person doesn't deserve to stand with us. Hearing the disdainful voices of the other 7 geniuses, Ziyang's face darkened. He was so angry that his body trembled. His fists were tightly clenched. These words were like poisonous thorns that pierced his heart. He couldn't stand it. There was even a moment when he wanted to charge forward. However, when he thought of the results of his analysis, he stopped himself and didn't go forward. Lin Xian was also very surprised. He looked at Ziyang in surprise, then nodded slightly. Interesting. Not bad. You can actually recognize the situation and know when to advance and retreat. You're not too stupid. If that's the case, I'll spare your life. After saying that, Lin Xian swayed and went to the spot that Ziyang had vacated. He went up. He really went up. When the crowd saw Lin Xian go up to the octatic treasure chessboard, they were all in an uproar. To be honest, they had never heard of Lin Xian's name before. They also didn't know that such a person existed. It wasn't until the Dark and Light convention, where he appeared in an extremely arrogant manner, that they learned of such a person. After that, the other party's actions were even more shocking. First, he looked down on Nangong Hao and made him refine pills. Then, the next day, he killed the Shura Hall's elder. He even beat up the Blood Fiend Hall. Not only that, but after that, he also avoided the assassination attempts of various geniuses. It could be said that in just 2 days, Lin Xian's reputation had soared. It even overshadowed those geniuses. Now that they saw him go up, they were even more excited. Although the conflict was intense, Lin Xian didn't directly fight with those geniuses. Therefore, they didn't know who was stronger and who was weaker. However, today, this mystery would be revealed. Chapter 1379. Now that they saw him enter the arena, they were even more excited. Although the conflict had been intense, Lin Xian had not directly fought with those Sky Prides. Therefore, they did not know who was stronger and who was weaker. However, today, the mystery would be revealed, because in the octatic treasure chess game, those geniuses would definitely fight. At that time, they would know who was the strongest among the geniuses. On the octatic treasure chess game, the other 7 geniuses saw Lin Xian and immediately snorted. All eyes fell on him, and the biting cold murderous intent was not concealed at all. On the other hand, Lin Xian didn't care at all. He swept his gaze around and said indifferently, "I advise the 7 of you to be sensible and back off quickly, lest you get killed when the time comes." "Humph, kid, you're too arrogant. The octatic treasure chess game is not a place where you can behave atrociously. Although you were very arrogant before, that was because I did not make a move. Now that you're facing me, I can crush you with one hand." Bloodhand's expression was cold, as the sea of blood behind him surged. "Originally, I wanted to wait for the octatic treasure chess game to finish you off, but since you're in a hurry to die, it's good that you came up yourself. I'll kill you with my own hands. Kid, hand over the Blood Soul Stone and kneel down to accept your death. I can give you a quick death." Yu Luocha's voice was cold as she stared at Lin Xian fiercely, as if she wanted to tear him apart. "Ha ha, your soul is mine." A cold shout was heard as the 7 geniuses all stared at Lin Xian, ready to attack. At that moment, the incense stick was completely burned out. The octatic treasure chess game released a bright light that completely enveloped Lin Xian and the others. Everyone's hearts were also in their mouths because they knew that the octatic treasure chess game had been completely activated. The octatic treasure chess game was extremely mysterious. Once it was activated, outsiders could not interfere at all. Meanwhile, the 8 geniuses inside had to use themselves as chess pieces to attack. "I'll go first," Bloodhand shouted as his body emitted endless light. The blood-colored aura shot up into the sky like a long river of blood that hung from the 9 heavens. At that moment, Bloodhand was extremely powerful. He also took a step forward and moved forward by 1 square. Wong! Suddenly, a chess piece appeared in front of him. It was formed from the Octatic Treasures chess game. It was a black ghost stone. After the Bloodhand moved, it quickly turned into a black-armored cultivator. His entire body was wrapped in an ice-cold black armor, and he looked exceptionally fierce. That biting cold aura caused the surrounding void to distort. The mysterious black-armored warrior did not wield any weapons. He simply swung his fists and punched forward. Boom! He threw out a punch, causing the void to tremble. Chapter 1380. Look, Bloodhand and Ghostly are fighting, everyone exclaimed in excitement. Sure enough, as they got closer to the center of the octatic treasure chessboard, the distance between them got closer and closer. Finally, someone couldn't help but make a move. Bloodhand was fighting with a black-armored warrior. Behind him, Ghostly took 3 steps forward and suddenly charged at Bloodhand. Ghosts wailed, and wolves howled as chilly winds blew. The white bone banner was held in his hand as he waved it rapidly. Ghosts turned into materialized ferocious ghosts and pounced forward. The ferocious ghosts could easily tear the void apart with a casual pounce. "Get lost!" Bloodhand roared as a terrifying light erupted from his body. The blood-colored river behind him surged. He waved his hand, and blood-colored palms blasted out in all directions, instantly sending the ferocious ghosts flying. "Ha ha! Give me your soul!" Ghostly saw that his attack was sent flying, but he still quickly made a move. The white bone banner in his hand blew up countless chilly winds. A white claw reached out from it and grabbed at Bloodhand, as if it wanted to tear it apart. Clang! Bloodhand's expression was cold as he roared. He quickly pulled out a blood-colored long saber and slashed horizontally. A blood-colored light splashed out like a long river. The terrifying blood-colored long saber blasted onto the white bone banner. It was like an ancient, ferocious beast, erupting with terrifying power. The two collided, emitting the sound of metal and stone colliding. After one strike, the two were evenly matched. However, because Ghostly took 3 steps to kill Bloodhand, 3 black chess warriors appeared beside him and quickly charged at him. Humph! Ghostly snorted and quickly retreated. He no longer fought with Bloodhand and focused on dealing with the 3 black chess warriors, because they were very close to the center of the octatic treasure chessboard. The black chess warriors gathered here were also very terrifying. Moreover, with 3 of them working together, even Ghostly would have to put in some effort. From this, one could see the pattern of the array. Every time a warrior took a step forward, it would attract a chess warrior to attack. Previously, Ghostly took 3 steps forward, which naturally attracted 3 black chess warriors. On the other side, Fonhyuri and Yuluosha were also fighting. The 2 of them fought fiercely, and then quickly pulled away. Up until now, no one had experienced a life and death battle. They were all just probing. After Lin Xian killed a few chess piece warriors, he finally encountered other sky prides. On his left was a handsome young man, Gu Yuan from the southern wasteland ancient town. When Gu Yuan saw Lin Xian rushing over from behind, his face immediately darkened. He was a member of the City Lord's mansion. Previously, Lin Xian had beaten up the enforcers, completely disregarding the City Lord's mansion. This was undoubtedly a slap to the City Lord's mansion's face. As a prodigy of the City Lord's mansion, how could Gu Yuan tolerate it? Therefore, when he saw Lin Xian, he naturally had to make a move. "Brat, you actually dared to attack the law enforcement team. Today, I will teach you a good lesson. I'll let you know that there are some people you can't afford to offend." Gu Yuan's expression was ferocious as he quickly stabbed the long sword in his hand behind him. A sword light flashed like a meteor and quickly blasted towards Lin Xian. "Humph! A puny martial artist from the City Lord's mansion also dares to clamor with me? It's more appropriate for your City Lord to talk to me personally." Lin Xian snorted coldly, his expression full of disdain. Then he threw out a punch. The terrifying fist carried an unparalleled lightning as it illuminated the surroundings. The violent power crushed the entire void. This punch was too terrifying. The light was so dazzling that no one could open their eyes. Boom! The lightning fist fiercely smashed onto the opponent's sword chi, causing a huge explosion in the void. In an instant, the opponent's sword chi shattered into pieces and scattered all over the ground. It shattered? That's impossible. In front, Gu Yuan's eyes were like lightning. They were like 2 sword lights that carried an unparalleled light. He naturally saw the scene of the sword light being shattered and immediately screamed. Shocking. It was simply too shocking. He didn't expect the opponent's fist to be so powerful that it could shatter his sword light. Not only that, the fist didn't suffer any injuries and was still rapidly charging towards him. Damn it, get lost! Gu Yuan's pupils shrank as he roared crazily. He quickly condensed his defensive power and activated the armor on his body. However, the punch still landed solidly on his body, causing him to take 5 steps back. In an instant, 5 chess-piece warriors quickly formed and charged toward him. On the other hand, Lin Xian frowned. He sensed that most of the force of his punch had been neutralized by the formation the moment his fist landed on the man's body. Only a small portion of the force had landed on the man's body. Therefore, the opponent only took 5 steps back. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, this punch would have definitely turned the opponent into a bloody mist. Reducing the damage, this formation was quite interesting. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He realized that this octatic treasure chess game was more magical than he had imagined. The method of reducing the damage was undoubtedly to protect the people in the formation. It seemed that it wasn't easy to kill people in the chess game. However, Lin Xian didn't pay too much attention to it. It didn't make any difference to him whether he killed the opponent or not. In his eyes, these people were all ants. There was no difference between being alive and being dead. The only thing he paid attention to was the mysterious crystal in the center. Therefore, in the next moment, he withdrew his fist and turned to look forward. You die. Gu Yuan, who was beside him, was pushed back. He was in a very sorry state. Not only that, but he also suffered internal injuries. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. After killing the 5 chess pieces around him with difficulty, Gu Yuan stared fiercely at Lin Xian. His eyes were full of viciousness. Damn it! Damn it! The other party had actually forced her to retreat and even injured her. Moreover, everyone had seen this scene. He couldn't stand it. As a genius of the city governor's mansion, he thought that he wasn't inferior to the geniuses of the other halls. This time, he was full of confidence and wanted to obtain the mysterious crystal. Therefore, he didn't take Lin Xian seriously at all. When they met just now, a murderous intent rose in his heart. He wanted to make Lin Xian embarrass himself in public so that he could save the face of the city governor's mansion's law enforcement team. However, he didn't expect that as soon as they exchanged blows, he realized that he was wrong. Lin Xian's strength was far beyond his imagination. As a result, he was defeated in a sorry state. Kid, you will pay for your actions. After I obtain the mysterious crystal, I will definitely kill you. Gu Yuan's body was full of murderous intent. He had decided that after obtaining the mysterious crystal, he would definitely not let Lin Xian off. When the surrounding warriors saw this scene, they were all terrified. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be so powerful that he could push Gu Yuan back with one punch. One should know that the previous battles between geniuses were just probing each other. They were evenly matched, and there was no obvious winner or loser. However, Lin Xian's side was different. That punch had directly pushed Gu Yuan back. This undoubtedly showed that Lin Xian's strength was above Gu Yuan's. This was also the first time a genius had a winner. The surrounding geniuses were also shocked. When they saw this scene, their faces were gloomy. Chapter 1381. The previous battles between the Sky Prides were merely probing each other. They were evenly matched, and there was no clear winner or loser. However, Lin Xian's side was different. His punch had forced Gu Yuan to retreat. This undoubtedly meant that Lin Xian's strength was above Gu Yuan's. This was also the first time a victor had been decided between 2 Sky Prides. The surrounding Sky Prides were also shocked. Their faces darkened when they saw this scene. Humph! Nan Gonghouse snorted coldly. However, he did not look relaxed. Bloodhand's expression was solemn. He realized that his opponent's strength had once again exceeded his imagination. He had to be careful. The others looked ferocious, while Lin Xian looked calm. However, he frowned in the next moment and suddenly threw a punch to his right. Get lost! Everyone was stunned. They did not know what he was doing because there was clearly no one on his right. However, they were all stunned very soon. That was because when Lin Xian threw a punch, a figure quickly appeared in the void on his right and quickly retreated. Shadowless. It was Shadowless who attacked. Everyone was stunned. They did not expect the king of assassins to assassinate Lin Xian at the critical moment and almost succeed. However, the other Sky Pride's pupils constricted and their expressions became extremely solemn. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to discover Shadowless's tracks and force him to retreat. This was too shocking. One had to know that Shadowless's assassination skills were extremely terrifying. Even they had a headache dealing with it. Many people could not even discover Shadowless and could only counterattack at the moment when he attacked. But now, Lin Xian had discovered Shadowless and attacked him when he was about 10 meters away, forcing him to retreat. Didn't this mean that he had discovered Shadowless's existence in advance? Damn it, how did this guy do it? He actually discovered Shadowless's existence. The Sky Prides were very confused. Meanwhile, Shadowless's face darkened. He did not expect Lin Xian to be able to discover his tracks and attack so decisively. He did not even have the chance to get close to Lin Xian. Who is this guy? How did he discover me? He was too shocked. The other party's sharpness was beyond his expectations, and this kind of situation had never happened before. One had to know that he wasn't called the king of assassins for nothing. In the past, he had never failed. Even those experts with higher cultivation than him had been successfully assassinated by him. That was why he had the title of king of assassins. But now he had failed. Moreover, he was defeated by a young man who was younger than him. He couldn't believe it. But how could he have known that in Lin Xian's eyes, he was not even an ant? It should be known that although Shadowless was powerful, he was only equivalent to those 5-star assassins that Lin Xian had brought along. And Lin Xian was an existence that even Luo Bingshan would tremble when he saw him. With his current soul power, even a half-step king warrior would not be able to get close to him, let alone a little Shadowless. No one else knew about this, not to mention Shadowless. His expression was solemn as he quickly tried to figure out how the other party had discovered him. However, no matter how much he thought about it, he still couldn't figure it out. Thus, he could only give up on assassinating for now and look for other prey. Next, everyone tried to test him again, but no one dared to provoke Lin Xian. Because of the previous 2 attacks, they knew that Lin Xian's strength was more terrifying than they had imagined. Even the king of assassins, Shadowless, couldn't get close to him. This undoubtedly rang an alarm bell. Finally, after a series of battles, everyone arrived at the central area. Next, please place your bets. At this moment, a low voice came from the octatic treasure chest set. This voice was very cold, like a machine, without any emotion. Hearing this voice, Lin Xian was stunned. The other prodigies were expressionless as they quickly took out the treasures they had prepared from their storage rings and placed them in front of them. Lin Xian was slightly stunned, but he soon understood that this should be something like a bet. Thus, Lin Xian also took out something from his storage ring. It was an Earth Street treasured long blade. Seeing this long blade, everyone had different expressions. Shadow's face darkened, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This was because the long blade that Lin Xian took out was the one he had bought from the auction. However, it was later snatched away by Lin Xian. That was a treasured long blade that he had spent millions of spiritual stones to buy. He didn't expect it to be snatched away by Lin Xian for no reason. Now Lin Xian was using it as a bet. This was infuriating. Moreover, what made him even angrier was that if he had that long blade now, his strength would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. In that case, he would definitely succeed in assassinating Lin Xian. However, now that everything was gone, he could only watch helplessly. The other prodigies' faces darkened as well. This was because Lin Xian hadn't only snatched that one item. All the treasures that they had bought had been snatched away by Lin Xian. This time, seeing Lin Xian take out an item from the auction. Their faces were terrifyingly dark. Yu Luosha gritted her teeth and said, "Brat, do you dare to take out the Blood Soul Stone as a bet? Don't even think about the Blood Soul Stone. I've already absorbed all of it," Lin Xian said calmly. I'm going to kill you." Hearing this, her face turned pale and she stomped her feet. She wanted nothing more than to pounce on Lin Xian and kill him right now. However, she didn't have the chance because the octatic treasure chest game changed again. Below Lin Xian and the other prodigies, balls of light emitted and enveloped all of them. Then the light around them dimmed, as if they had arrived in a special space. Just as Lin Xian was about to investigate, the space in front of him rippled, and another figure appeared. It was a handsome young man in a robe. His expression was arrogant, as if he didn't care about anyone. "Nangong Hao?" Lin Xian smiled faintly when he saw the figure. When Nangong Hao saw Lin Xian, he was startled at first. Then he revealed a sinister smile. "Ha ha ha, kid, I have to say that your luck is really bad. You actually met me on your first try. Very well, let me send you on your way. I'll let you know the consequences of provoking me." Nangong Hao's voice was sinister, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He didn't have a good impression of Lin Xian. Not only did Lin Xian snatch his spiritual medicine, but he also stepped on his head. This was something that the arrogant Nangong Hao couldn't tolerate. Lin Xian, on the other hand, ignored him and walked around. He frowned and asked, "What is this place? Is this a martial arts competition? Only the winner can walk out?" Lin Xian didn't understand. However, from the looks of it, the 8 of them should have been divided into many groups and competed with each other. Only the winner could walk out successfully and proceed to the next step. As for why he and Nangong Hao were placed together, Lin Xian couldn't figure it out yet. Maybe it was random distribution, or maybe it had something to do with the stakes. Nangong Hao's eyes were dark, and his expression was cold. His entire body emitted a murderous aura, but he didn't attack. This made Lin Xian a little confused. Was it not a martial arts competition? Chapter 1382. However, in the next moment, he understood, because after the 2 of them entered, the void fluctuated again, and another figure appeared. It was a human figure. To be more precise, it was like a shadow because it was only a vague outline. Even his face could not be seen clearly. Only a low voice could be heard. 2 people were assigned to each other. Only the winner could proceed to the next round, while the loser would be eliminated. The voice was cold and mechanical, without a trace of emotion. The shadow continued. "This time, we'll be using flames. Whoever has the strongest eye of fire will be the winner." What? A competition of flames? Lin Xian was puzzled. He had never seen such a competition before. Nangong Hao, who was standing aside, laughed loudly. "Ha ha ha! The heavens are helping me. Boy, you dare to compete with me in flames? You're dead." He was overjoyed because he was shocked by Lin Xian's performance. Lin Xian's strength was completely out of his expectations. Therefore, he was very worried at first. He was afraid that the competition would be a direct fight, because if that happened, he would not have much confidence in winning. But now, it was a competition of flames. This made him very happy. Among the 7 geniuses, he was a member of the Divine Pill Hall. Moreover, among the fire-based martial artists, no one had a stronger flame than him. Nangong Hao was even confident that, except for the mysterious fire spirit, no one could beat his flame. Although his opponent was mysterious, from the strength that he had displayed, he could tell that his opponent had the thunder and ice attributes. He definitely did not have the fire attribute. Therefore, the flame that his opponent condensed with spiritual power was just an ordinary flame. It was definitely not comparable to the flame in his hand. Lin Xian also grinned. Competing with him in flames? What a death-seeking question. Even the two terrifying fire spirits were burned to ashes by his black flame martial soul. One could imagine how powerful his black flame martial soul was. But now he wanted to compete with flames? Wasn't this giving him points? Looking at Nan Gonghao's arrogant look, Lin Xian asked with a smile, "You seem to be very happy. Kid, are you an idiot?" Nan Gonghao sneered. "I'm the leader of the Divine Pill Hall. I have an extremely powerful flame, and it's a flame martial spirit. What do you have to compete with me? Other than a natural fire spirit, no one else in the younger generation has a stronger flame than me." Nan Gonghao's voice was sonorous, and his words were full of confidence. However, Lin Xian smiled disdainfully. "So you're saying that you still can't compare to Huling? Even the two fire spirits were killed by me, let alone you. I really can't think of anything. What are you so happy about? Stop trying to scare me." Although I don't know how the two fire spirits disappeared, I think it's definitely not caused by your true strength. Moreover, I admit that you are strong, but what we are competing in here is not strength, but flames. Do you have a flame martial spirit? Do you have a deviant flame? You have nothing. You still dare to be arrogant here? Brat, I'll let you know what the difference between heaven and earth is. Nan Gonghao's expression was arrogant, and his nostrils were almost in the sky. In the next moment, he snorted coldly, and countless purple flames surged out from his body, forming a purple flame armor on his body. Brat, listen carefully. This is the Purple River spiritual fire. It came from underground and was formed after thousands of years of nurturing. Even a 9th level honorable couldn't withstand a trace of my flame. Let alone you. You'd better admit defeat obediently, because the flame that you condensed with your spiritual power is nothing in front of me. Nan Gonghao looked up to the sky and laughed. He was like a fire god looking down at Lin Xian. Lord Array's spirit, quickly kick him out. Anyway, this brat is wasting time here. Seeing Nan Gonghao's smug look, Lin Xian shook his head slightly. What a fool. In the next moment, he snapped his fingers and a black flame appeared on his index finger. The flame was deep, and as soon as it appeared, the surrounding void was scorched and distorted. Not only that, but there was also an extremely hot energy accompanying the black flame. Even the purple flame on Nan Gonghao's body dimmed instantly, as if it was frightened. Feeling the change in the purple flame on his body, Nan Gonghao's expression changed drastically. In the next moment, he looked at Lin Xian and screamed, "Impossible! What kind of flame is this? It can actually scare my Purple River's spiritual fire? Brat, how did you do it?" He was stunned, really stunned. His opponent actually had black flames, and that was indeed surprising. Moreover, from the aura that was emitted, he knew that it was definitely not a flame condensed with spiritual power, but a kind of strange flame. It was even more terrifying than his Purple River spiritual fire, because when the purple flame appeared, the purple flame on his body instantly dimmed. This kind of thing had never happened before. Even when he faced the fire spirit, it had never happened before. Damn it, impossible. I don't believe it. How can you have such a magical flame? Aren't you an ice-based martial artist? How can you have a flame? How can ice and fire exist in a person's body at the same time? Nan Gonghao screamed, crazily. Then, as if he had thought of something, he looked in front of him in shock. Could it be the black dragon flame on the sect leader's body? Thinking of this, his body trembled. If it was really the black dragon sect leader's flame, he would definitely lose. No matter how powerful his Purple River spiritual fire was, it could not be compared to the black dragon flame. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and did not explain. It was better for him to misunderstand. However, after Nan Gonghao recovered from his shock, he shook his head crazily. No, that's not right. It's not the black dragon flame. I've seen the sect leader's flame before. Although it's also black, its aura is different. Brat, what kind of flame is this? Trash like you is not qualified to know the name of this flame. Lin Xian snorted coldly and shook his head. You, die. Nan Gonghao's expression was ferocious. He clenched his fists, and his entire body was trembling. Was he being looked down upon? No one had ever dared to look down on him. This was intolerable. However, when he saw the black flame in his opponent's hand, Nan Gonghao hesitated. That flame was too terrifying. He was not confident that he could withstand it. However, at this moment, the cold voice sounded again. The winner has been decided. With that, Lin Xian's feet shone, and he instantly returned to the octatic treasure chest set. In fact, when Lin Xian entered the special space, the other Sky Prides had also entered the special space to fight. The content of each battle was different. Therefore, before the Sky Prides entered, they did not know who they would be fighting and what they would be fighting about. However, it did not take long for the winner to be decided. Chapter 1383. In fact, when Lin Xian entered the special space, the other Sky Prides had also entered the special space to fight. The content of each battle was different. Therefore, before these Sky Prides entered, they did not know who they would be fighting and what they would be fighting about. However, it did not take long for the outcome to be decided. The three victors were Luosha, Bloodhand, and Shadowless. As for Feng Huti, Gui Li, and Gu Yuan, they had all failed. The three of them had ugly expressions. They retreated to the side and could not get close to the center at all. The remaining three did not relax because this was only the first round and had not reached the end. They had to defeat everyone to obtain the mysterious crystal. In the next moment, the three of them looked to the side because they realized that Lin Xian and Nan Gonghao had not come out yet. I didn't expect that kid to be in the same space as Nan Gonghao. I'm afraid he's doomed this time, Shadowless said in a deep voice. Humph, that kid got lucky. If I had met him, I would have killed him myself. Luosha snorted coldly. Bloodhand, on the other hand, had a cold expression. Nan Gonghao is very powerful and not easy to deal with. Looks like I'll have to be 120% focused in the next round. In their opinion, Nan Gonghao would definitely be the winner because he was too powerful. Even they did not have the confidence to defeat him, not to mention Lin Xian. Soon, there was a flash of light, and a figure appeared. He's out. Everyone took a deep breath and looked over with rapt attention. But soon, they were stunned on the spot. Why is it him? How is this possible? Everyone was stunned because they realized that the first person to come out was Lin Xian, and the first one to come out would be the winner. They did not expect that the winner would be Lin Xian. Damn it! How is this possible? How can it be him? Everyone was shocked. The martial artists who were watching from afar exclaimed. They knew how powerful Nan Gonghao was. He was even qualified to be the number one among the younger generation. However, he had been defeated. He had been defeated by a youth who was younger and more arrogant than him. What exactly were they competing for? Nan Gonghao had actually lost. Gui Li, Feng Huti, and the others were shocked. They couldn't imagine what kind of situation could defeat Nan Gonghao. Gu Feng's expression was also cold. He coldly snorted. Humph! It must be Han Bing from the competition. Nan Gonghao is a fire attribute martial artist. Naturally, he is not proficient in the ice attribute. That's why he lost. Or maybe it's lightning. That brat is also a thunder attribute martial artist, Bloodhand said in a deep voice. Yes, that must be it. It must be that kid's field of expertise. Otherwise, Nan Gonghao wouldn't have lost. These people kept hypnotizing themselves to comfort their shocked hearts. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. He took a step forward and stood at the front with his hands behind his back. On the other hand, Nan Gonghao's face was terrifyingly dark. It was as if he had eaten a dead rat. He reluctantly went to the rear. At this moment, Gu Yuan quickly asked Nangong what exactly did you compete in? How could he lose? He could not believe that the winner would actually be Lin Xian. Moreover, he had just lost to Lin Xian, so he wanted to know the truth of the matter even more. However, Nangong coldly snorted and did not say a word. How could he say it out loud? They competed in the flame that he was best at. Losing in the field that he was best at, he would never say such a thing even if he was beaten to death because he could not afford to lose face. Seeing Nangong Hao's expression, everyone's hearts sank. They realized that things might be worse than they had imagined. However, they did not have the time to think too much because soon one of the three of them would be facing Lin Xian. The treasures that their opponents had used as collateral now belonged to them. At this moment, they were floating in front of them, constantly floating and being distributed. In the next moment, a light flashed, and Lin Xian and the other three disappeared. It was a dark space again, and the light was flickering. Lin Xian's figure flashed. However, this time he did not look around because even if he did, he would not be able to find anything. He might as well wait for the competition. This time his opponent was Shadowless. When Shadowless saw Lin Xian, his expression instantly turned ugly. One had to know that he had been knocked back by Lin Xian's punch, and even suffered internal injuries. Now that he saw his opponent, his heart could not help but tremble. Damn it! Please don't let me fight him directly. Shadowless prayed in his heart. If they fought directly, he did not have the confidence to defeat his opponent. It would be better to compete in something that he was best at. Next to him, a blurry figure appeared. Instantly, a cold voice was heard. This time, we'll compete in speed. What? Speed. Hearing this, Shadowless, who had always been calm, jumped up in joy. Speed. That was what he was best at. As an assassin, he was best at concealment, speed, and timing. Only by mastering these three could one become an excellent assassin. Furthermore, he was the king of assassins, so his speed was needless to say. Perhaps even Nangong, Hao, and Bloodrogue could not catch up to him. Thinking of this, he grinned. It seemed that even the heavens were helping him. Ha, kid, you're dead. Competing in speed with me, you have no chance at all. Although I don't know how you discovered me before, I will definitely take revenge this time. Just wait to admit defeat. Shadowless sneered and swore to kill his opponent. Lin Xian also shook his head in disdain. As expected, these disciples of the Black Dragon cult are all arrogant and have never seen the real world. Competing in speed with him was courting death. One had to know that he had the illusory demonic steps and the wind and thunder wings. His speed could be said to be extremely fast, even comparable to a half-step king. In addition, he also had the sea god's ice. That terrifying cold air could definitely slow down the speed of the martial artists around him to the extreme, even slower than a snail. Of course, there was no need to use the sea god's ice to deal with Shadowless. He could definitely kill him with just his movement technique. In the dark space, the void fluctuated, and two rays of light appeared on both sides, floating in the void. The distance between the two rays of light was not long, only 10 feet. At this moment, a cold voice sounded, run back and forth between the two rays of light for a total of 10,000 times. Whoever finishes first wins. Hearing this, Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, a distance of 10 feet was just a blink of an eye for them. However, to run 10,000 times while maintaining a high speed was quite challenging. Shadowless sneered. Kid, just wait for your death. Then the two stood on the same side, and as the cold voice sounded, the two started to move. Whoosh! The two turned into lightning phantoms and moved quickly. Their speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, they had finished dozens of times. If there were martial artists here, they would definitely scream. Chapter 1384. Whoosh, whoosh. The two of them turned into lightning phantoms and moved quickly. In the blink of an eye, they had completed dozens of rounds. If there were martial artists here, they would definitely scream. Teleportation. This was teleportation. The two of them were so fast that they left behind afterimages in the air. Time passed bit by bit. Not only did they not slow down, they even sped up. One had to admit that it was indeed shocking. 3,000 rounds is enough. There are still 7,000 rounds left. Humph, he dares to compete with me in speed. That kid is definitely dead. Shadowless snorted in his heart. The next moment, his pupils constricted because he found that Lin Xian suddenly appeared and stopped beside him. What's going on? Why did he stop? Shadowless was puzzled. Humph, what a piece of trash. He can't take it after 3,000 rounds? It seems that I overestimated him. Shadowless sneered in his heart and became even more proud. Then he sped up and moved quickly. However, at this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded. The competition is over. The winner has been decided. What? It's over? In the air, Shadowless was stunned, and his body appeared. His mind went blank, and he could not believe his ears. What? It's over? How is that possible? I still have more than 7,000 rounds left. Shadowless shouted in exasperation. He thought that there was something wrong with the formation spirit, but soon his body trembled, and his voice stopped abruptly. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Could it be that the kid is finished? How is that possible? How can he be so fast? Shadowless was extremely shocked. Now, he understood that the reason why Lin Xian stopped running was not because he was exhausted, but because he had finished running. However, he could not believe it at all. One had to know that he had only run 3,000 rounds at that time, and Lin Xian had already run 10,000 rounds. That was a difference of 3 times. Who could be 3 times faster than him? Perhaps even a half-step king could not do that, unless it was a true king. However, Lin Xian's cultivation was only at the 8th level of the Venerable Realm, which was 1 level lower than his, but his speed was so fast. No, that's impossible. Shadowless seemed to have been struck by lightning. His mind went blank, and he could not believe it. Even his expression became dull, because he had suffered a great blow. Whoosh whoosh. 2 rays of light flashed, and Lin Xian and Shadowless were forcefully sent out of the space. Then the two of them appeared on top of the octatic treasure chests. What's wrong? Who won? As soon as Lin Xian and Yi Shiwen appeared, the gazes of the surrounding prodigies locked onto them. Countless cultivators below even craned their necks, their faces filled with anticipation. In the next moment, Nangong, Hao, Bloodhand, and the other geniuses were all shocked because they found that Shadowless's eyes were lifeless. He stood there like a puppet, and his eyes had lost their luster. It can't be. His aura is so weak. Could he be seriously injured? Bloodhand frowned. Could it be that they are going to have a direct duel this time? Yu Luocha's expression was grave. Behind them, Nangong, Hao, Gui Li, and the others were also shocked. They knew how strong Shadowless was. Although he had been punched by Lin Xian, they should be evenly matched if they really fought. But now, it seemed like Shadowless had lost his soul. Damn it, what the hell happened? Shadowless. Say something. What exactly are you guys competing in? Could it be that you're seriously injured? Many people shouted coldly, wanting to know the inside story. However, Shadowless still refused to listen and remained rooted to the ground. Who's next? Lin Xian took another step forward and asked indifferently. Humph. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Yu Luocha snorted coldly and retreated to the side. Obviously, he had lost the duel with Bloodhand. Kid, I didn't expect you to be able to make it this far. But against me, you definitely have no chance of winning. Bloodhand's expression was cold, and he was very confident Let's wait for you to come out before saying that. Lin Xian sneered disdainfully. Those two guys from before were also very arrogant, but you've seen how they are now. I hope you'll be better than them when you come out later. Everyone had failed, leaving only Lin Xian and Blood Hand. In the next moment, the two of them disappeared again. This time, the duel was very direct. It was a direct duel. Blood Hand roared excitedly. He was the #1 division leader of the Blood Fiend Hall and was a true battle maniac. If he was asked to compete in other things, he really wouldn't be willing. A direct duel was the most suitable choice for him. Kid, I'll split you in half later and let you know how powerful I am. Of course, if you can obediently hand over the Blood Soul Stone, I'll take your life and let you lose with dignity. Blood Hand's blood aura bloomed like a powerful god of war, looking disdainfully at everyone. Lin Xian said indifferently, I wanted to play with you, but since it's a direct duel, I'll finish you off quickly. Arrogant. Kid, since you're so stubborn, you can go to hell. Blood Hand roared, and a blood-red river appeared behind him. Blood, river, 9 tremors in unison. In the next moment, he pushed out both palms, and 9 blood-red palms rushed out quickly, blasting towards Lin Xian. For a moment, the entire void trembled rapidly. Unable to withstand this power, Lin Xian's eyes narrowed, and he quickly formed seals with his palms. Firmament 9 changes, Juyen change. As the palms fell, a huge red ape appeared. Then the red ape roared into the sky, and with a shake of its arms, it tore the 9 blood-red palms in front of it into pieces. What? This is impossible. Blood Hand's eyes narrowed, and he screamed in disbelief. That was his strongest attack, and the 9 palms could even kill a few Ninth Heaven supremacies. However, at this moment, it had been torn apart so easily. How could he believe this? However, what was even more frightening was yet to come. The red ape smashed the 9 palms with a punch, then lifted its huge foot and stomped towards Blood Hand. Rumble! The void collapsed and the ground sank. This stomp was so terrifying that it created a black hole. No! Blood Hand was terrified, and he no longer had the arrogance from before. In front of this power, he was like an ant that could be swallowed up at any time. Boom! The huge foot landed, and Blood Hand was sent flying. This was even after the octatic treasure chest set had reduced its power by 90%. Otherwise, this stomp would have turned him into minced meat. However, even with only 10% of its power left, it was not something that Blood Hand could handle. He immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. When the crowd saw that Lin Xian and Blood Hand had disappeared, they immediately started discussing intensely. This was because this was the final battle, and the winner would not only obtain the treasures that the others had bet on, but also a mysterious crystal. Therefore, they were very concerned about this result. Many people even analyzed and discussed in detail, guessing who the final winner would be. I think it must be Blood Hand. That guy is a battle maniac, and he's too terrifying. I'm afraid even Nangong, how might not be able to suppress him. Of course, Blood Hand is the strongest among our younger generation. The disciples of the Blood Fiend Hall were very confident. Chapter 1385. I'm guessing it must be Blood Rogue. That guy is a battle maniac. He's terrifying. Even Nangong, how might not be able to suppress him? Of course, Blood Rogue is the #1 among the younger generation. The disciples from Blood Fiend Hall were confident. It's hard to say. Hua Wufeng is very strange. He defeated Nangong Hao, Shadowless, and the rest. His strength is extremely strong. Who knows if he will create another miracle this time? What a joke. That guy must be lucky to have made it this far. Otherwise, he would have been defeated long ago. That's right. Just wait. Our Lord Blood Hand will be able to kill him with a single palm strike. Are you Out of your mind. He's not on the same level as our Lord Bloodrogue. The martial artist from Bloodfiend Hall sneered. Then, someone exclaimed, "Look, someone's coming out." All of a sudden, everyone stopped discussing and focused their attention on the scene in front of them. Nan Gonghao, Ghostly, and the rest held their breaths. When the first figure appeared, everyone was stunned. What? Why is it him again? Everyone was shocked when they realized that the first person to come out was Lin Xian again. Heavens, this guy is too powerful. He even defeated Bloodrogue? Dark Horse. He's definitely the biggest dark horse in our Saints sect. Everyone exclaimed. The disciples from Bloodfiend Hall were in despair. Impossible, he can't win. How can he defeat Lord Bloodrogue? Dream. I must be dreaming. Heavens, can anyone tell me what's going on? Many people screamed. Nan Gonghao, Yuluosha, and the rest looked cold. The result was beyond their expectations. They did not believe that Lin Xian could last until the end and win first place. Damn it. Why is this guy so lucky? He always wins. Yeah, I wonder what they're competing for this time. Ghostly and the rest discussed in low voices. Their voices were filled with hatred. Lin Xian smiled in disdain. He was too lazy to explain. In the next moment, the void trembled and Bloodrogue appeared. However, his body swayed, and he knelt on the ground, vomiting blood. What? He's hurt. How is that possible? How could he be so heavily injured? Nan Gonghao, Yuluosha, Ghostly, and the others were shocked. Their scalps went numb. Originally, they had thought that Lin Xian had only been lucky and had just happened to compete in something that Bloodhand wasn't good at. That was why he had won. But now, it seemed that this was not the case at all. Looking at Bloodhand's appearance, it was as if he had gone through a huge battle. They simply could not believe that the injuries on Bloodhand's body were caused by Lin Xian. That's impossible. Did they start fighting? Why was Bloodhand injured by that brat? How can he be so strong? Damn it. This brat's strength is beyond our expectations. This won't do. We must join forces to suppress him in the next round. We absolutely can't let him have his way again. But now it had really happened. In front, the second round of the octatic treasure chessboard began. However, this time, everyone changed their strategy because they realized that no one was a match for Lin Xian in a one-on-one battle. Therefore, these people decided to join forces. Bloodhand and Feng Huti joined forces and formed a powerful attack that charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian quickly formed a seal with his palms, and a huge Qiongqi flew out from his fingertips and pounced forward, forcing the two of them back. What? The two of them were shocked. Impossible? How did he do it? Seeing this scene, everyone's scalps went numb, while Nan Gonghao, Bloodhand, and the others' faces were gloomy. Impossible. I don't believe it's not true. How can he be so powerful? These people counterattacked crazily outside the chessboard. The martial artists were even more shocked. Even the mysterious city lord, who was hiding in the dark, frowned. Impossible. This kid's cultivation is clearly at the 8th heaven, but his strength has surpassed Nan Gonghao and the others, even by a lot. This doesn't make sense. What's going on with him? How can he have such powerful combat strength? The city lord frowned, and even he began to suspect Lin Xian's identity. Soon the second round ended, and Lin Xian was still first place, obtaining another mysterious crystal. Everyone was in despair and disbelief. Chapter 1386. Nan Gonghao, Xue Shou, and the others gritted their teeth. They were so angry that their lungs were about to explode. That was a mysterious crystal. If they could get their hands on one, they could reach the advanced stage, or even the peak stage of the 9th level of heaven. If that happened, they would become the most dazzling existence among the younger generation. However, that beautiful hope had been shattered. And it was all because of this hateful brat in front of him. The opponent was too terrifying. He forced all of them back and took first place. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Next time, let's add more people. I don't believe that the bastard can fight against 3 of us. Nan Gong Hao said, through gritted teeth, yes, let's work together. Let's put aside our conflicts and subdue the bastard first. Yu Luosha's face was also cold. This time, they came to an agreement. Yu Luosha, Nan Gong Hao, and Feng Huiri would work together to kill Lin Xian. However, this time, Lin Xian didn't fight them head-on, because he sensed that someone was spying on him. Therefore, to not expose his identity, he decided to hide his abilities. He had to at least get his hands on the last mysterious crystal. Then, even if his identity was exposed, it wouldn't matter. Thus, in the end, Lin Xian quickly swam away and did not fight against them at all. Damn it, Yu Luosha gritted her teeth. Ah, this is so infuriating. Nan Gong Hao roared crazily. When the 3 of them worked together, they were extremely powerful. Nobody could fight against them. However, the opponent changed his strategy and didn't fight them. Instead, he walked around them quickly. This made them feel like they were punching cotton. They couldn't do anything and couldn't use their strength. In the end, the last mysterious crystal was obtained by Lin Xian. Everyone was shocked. No one expected the situation to turn out like this. The 3 mysterious crystals could even create 3 powerful experts. However, all of them were obtained by Lin Xian. The other 7 Heavens favorites didn't even get a single one. One had to admit that this was too hard to believe. Before this, the hot favorites were Nan Gong Hao, Xue Shou, and Yu Luosha. Some people even speculated that the 3 of them could have gotten one each. But now, Lin Xian had obtained all 3. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched in disbelief. Nan Gong Hao and the others' faces darkened. They wanted nothing more than to run away. *CK, I can't take it. I really can't take it anymore. Nan Gong Hao was so angry that he was trembling. Brat, just you wait. When we get out of the octatic treasure chest game, I'll definitely kill you. The mysterious crystal must be mine. Humph, you're too greedy. Bloodhand's eyes were also red, and the blood energy on his body was surging. No matter what, I must get the mysterious crystal. Ghost Li's expression was even more ferocious, like an evil spirit. Brat, hand over the mysterious crystal and the blood soul stone obediently, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, when you leave the octatic treasure chest game, it will be the time of your death. Yu Luocha's voice was even colder. The others were also crazy. They stared at Lin Xian with murderous intent. Obviously, as soon as the octatic treasure chest game was out, these people would make a move to snatch the mysterious crystal in Lin Xian's hands. In the past, such a thing would never happen because no matter who obtained the mysterious crystal, they would immediately absorb it on the spot. The others could only watch. However, it was different now. Not only did Lin Xian obtain 3 mysterious crystals, but he also placed them in his storage ring. He did not absorb any of them. This was equivalent to having a small sun above his head, telling others that the treasure was here. Come, come, come. Therefore, not only Nan Gong Hao, Bloodhand, and the others, even the martial artists outside, and even the city lord, who was hiding in the dark, were extremely tempted. As long as the octatic treasure chest game was out, they could make a move without any worries. Without the restriction of the octatic treasure chest game, Lin Xian would definitely die. Everyone's eyes were red. There was no other way. The mysterious crystal was too important. Whoever obtained it would be able to reach the peak and stand above everyone else. Therefore, even if Lin Xian's current identity was the disciple of the third guardian, they would not care. If they could break through, why would they care about the third guardian? In an instant, everyone looked at Lin Xian with greed in their eyes. Nan Gong Hao waved his hand. and the martial artists from the Divine Pill Hall immediately rushed forward and surrounded the array. On the other side, Bloodhand, Ghostly, and the others waved their hands as well. All the elite martial artists from the various halls quickly rushed over and surrounded the octatic treasure chest game. The surrounding martial artists were terrified and quickly retreated. Damn it, I'm afraid this is going to be troublesome. That kid is too strong. He snatched 3 mysterious crystals and did not give the other Sky Prides a chance. He's too arrogant and overbearing. The other Sky Prides will not agree. There will definitely be a huge battle. Hurry up and retreat. Otherwise, you won't even be able to keep your life. This Hua Wufeng is too arrogant. He could have left one for the others. Now that he has taken all 3, the Heaven Sect will not accept it. It's over. There will definitely be a huge battle. I'm afraid the enforcers will not care. Yeah, I'm afraid the city lord will want a share of the loot. The surrounding martial artists quickly retreated and discussed. Humph! In the crowd, Morong Qingcheng, who was dressed in purple, looked like a fairy. When he saw this, he snorted. Beside him, Luo Bingshan looked cold. As long as Lin Xian gave the order, he would definitely take action. However, the Crimson Dragon shook his head and said, "The 2 of you don't have to do anything. Leave this to that kid." As expected, Lin Xian scanned his surroundings and revealed a disdainful sneer. "Why, you can't beat me in a fair fight, so you want to snatch it by force? Kid, you're too arrogant. You can't take the mysterious crystals for yourself. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and hand it over. Perhaps you can keep your life. Otherwise, today will be your burial ground." Nangong House snorted. Bloodhand was also filled with killing intent. "I advise you not to make a mistake. Hurry up and hand over the mysterious crystals." "Hand over the crystals? I don't have the habit of spitting out what I've taken." Lin Xian shrugged. "Also, you losers, do you really think you can beat me? Hee, although none of us are a match for you in a one-on-one fight. What if we join forces?" Ghostly sneered. "With the 7 of us joining forces, do you think you can escape? Moreover, there are elites from our various halls around. That's right. The City Lord's mansion won't let you go either." Gu Yuan's face was ferocious. "Kid, kneel down obediently and hand over the mysterious crystals and the Blood Soul Stone. I can spare your life." Yu Luosha also shouted. The 7 Sky Prides stared at Lin Xian like lightning. They did not hide their killing intent and greed. Then, the 7 of them quickly turned around and left the octatic treasure chest set. Because they could not kill anyone in the octatic treasure chest set. They could only attack after they came out. Therefore, they first asked their men to surround the octatic treasure chest set to prevent Lin Xian from escaping. Chapter 1387. Kid, get down here and accept your death. Stay up there forever if you dare. I don't believe you won't come out. Hee, you think you can stop me? If I want to leave, even God can't stop me." Lin Shui sneered, then stepped out and left the octatic treasure chest game. "What? He came out? He actually came out." The surrounding martial artists exclaimed in disbelief. "No way, this guy is too arrogant. He actually dared to come out?" "Yeah, he's definitely dead if he comes out. In the octatic treasure chest game, the array can block most of the damage, so it's absolutely safe. But once he comes out, he'll lose the defense of the array. With the strength of the 7 geniuses, I'm afraid no one can withstand their anger. It's over. It's over. That kid is dead for sure." Everyone shook their heads and sighed. They all thought that Lin Xian was too arrogant. Nangong Hao, Blood Rogue, Ghostly, and the others laughed wildly. They didn't expect that Lin Xian would really come out. "Idiot kid, you're too arrogant. Today will be the day you die. What an idiot. Do you really think you're invincible? Hand over the mysterious crystal." Kill. A series of cold shouts could be heard. Then, the 7 geniuses quickly attacked. This time, they were completely on the same side and decided to kill Lin Xian together. Nan Gonghao's figure was tall, and his cold face was filled with killing intent. He was too aggrieved previously. He actually lost to Lin Xian in the field he was best at. Therefore, this time, he wanted to vent the anger in his heart. He had to blast Lin Xian into pieces. Die, brat. Countless purple flames surged out of his body and turned into a purple qilin in front of him. It roared ferociously, and terrifying heat spread out in all directions. This time, I won't give you any chance. Bloodrogue's expression was cold, as killing intent surged all over his body. A river of blood surged behind him, emitting a monstrous smell of blood. In the next moment, the river of blood danced and wrapped around his arm, forming a mysterious pattern. Then he struck out with his palm. Suddenly, the sky, earth, and all directions turned blood red. It was as if the space had turned into a Jura hell. The scene was extremely terrifying. It made one's scalp tingle and despair. I will make you kneel until you die. Yu Luocha's beautiful face was very cold. She waved the human face peach blossom fan, and the pink mist formed an extremely strange light that slashed towards Lin Xian. Kik, your soul is mine. Ghostly laughed sinisterly, holding the white bone banner in his hand. Countless ghosts and vengeful spirits quickly rushed forward. Kill. Feng Yuri didn't say anything. She just gripped the black spear in her hand tightly and stabbed out quickly. Soul-extinguishing spear. This spear was like a black torrent, directly piercing through the void, quickly stabbing towards Lin Xian. Die, brat. Gu Yuan's face was ferocious and twisted. He waved the long sword in his hand and slashed out several sharp sword lights. Every single sword light contained all of his power. At this moment, when they flew out together, it was terrifying to the extreme. The 7 experts attacked at the same time, causing the entire space in front of them to rapidly collapse. An incomparably terrifying power instantly rushed towards Lin Xian, as if wanting to tear him to pieces. Horrifying. It was too horrifying. The 7 prodigies were all extremely powerful existences. When the 7 of them attacked, it could be said that no one could compare. The martial artists watching from afar felt their scalps go numb, and their faces were filled with despair. In front of this power, they were like tiny ants, unable to resist at all. Many people were even forced to kneel on the ground by this aura, trembling. It's over. That brat is really finished. Everyone shook their heads because in front of the 7 prodigies, even the hall master would not be able to resist. But Lin Xian was still calm, and there was even disdain at the corner of his mouth. These attacks were incomparably terrifying in the eyes of outsiders, and no one could resist them. But in his eyes, they were nothing. One had to know that he had once faced Prince Ling Feng's powerful attack. At that time, there were 10 peak 9th heaven martial artists, dozens of 9th heaven supremacies, and hundreds of 8th heaven supremacies. That lineup was hundreds of times more than now. However, he could destroy any kind of lineup with a wave of his hand, let alone the ones in front of him. Is this all you've got? Really pitifully weak. People like you are worthy of being called prodigies? Today, I'll let you see what a true prodigy is. Lin Xian sneered. His black hair fluttered, and a powerful aura surged from his body, instantly exploding. An extremely powerful force exploded from Lin Xian's body, like an ancient ferocious beast that had awakened. It was terrifying. His vitality was vigorous, and it shot straight into the sky. There was even a low dragon roar coming from his body. He punched out, and the terrifying force directly caused the space in front of him to explode. The 7 ultimate attacks that were charging towards him also exploded with this punch, turning into countless streams of energy. What? He blasted them apart with one punch? That's impossible. Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe their eyes. As for the 7 Sky Prides, their pupils constricted as they shrieked. What was going on? They did not dare to believe that the other party had blasted their attacks apart with one punch. How was that possible? One had to know that they were all prodigies, and each of them was extremely powerful. The 7 of them together could even defeat their hall master. But now, the attacks of the 7 of them were actually blasted away by a single punch. What kind of technique is that? They did not dare to believe it. Perhaps even the 4 protectors of the sacred sect could not do that. Only the legendary left and right messengers and the Black Dragon sect's leader could do that. But now, the person who had done that was only a 20-year-old young man, and his cultivation was only at the 8th heaven of the honorable realm. They could not believe it. No, impossible. This can't be real. Nan Gonghao screamed crazily. Damn it, how did you do that? Bloodhand's face was ferocious. Impossible. This must be a F** King illusion. Ghost Li's face was ugly, and he no longer had the arrogance from before. Yu Luosha and Feng Huidi lost their colors as well. At this moment, all 7 geniuses were stunned by this punch. You're just a bunch of ants. How dare you call yourselves prodigies? Do you think that 7 ants working together can kill a giant dragon? Ignorant. Lin Xian snorted. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind. At that moment, he was like a god of war, looking disdainfully at his surroundings. His powerful aura suffocated everyone. In the next moment, his body swayed as he charged towards the 7 prodigies. On the opposite side, the 7 prodigies' eyes narrowed. Then they roared angrily and executed their most powerful techniques to counterattack. There was no way out now. They could only fight with their backs against the wall to survive. Otherwise, with Lin Xian's strength, they would not be able to contend with him. Nan Gonghao? Alchemy genius? Unparalleled flame? Trash like you dare not play with fire in front of me? In an instant, Lin Xian arrived in front of Nan Gonghao. His speed made everyone's scalp go numb. Chapter 1388. In the blink of an eye, Lin Xian had arrived in front of Nan Gonghao. His speed made everyone's hair stand on end. That was because they hadn't noticed when Lin Xian had arrived. Nan Gonghao's face turned pale. His handsome face was filled with fear. He had not expected Lin Xian to find him first. Why did he find me first? Nan Gonghao roared in his heart. However, he could not care less. He could only grit his teeth and fight back. Let me show you my flame, martial soul. Purple river, martial soul. Condense. Nan Gonghao roared crazily. Suddenly, countless purple flames condensed on his body and formed a purple qilin in front of him. The qilin was made up of flames. It was mighty, and it exuded a terrifying power. This was Nan Gonghao's martial soul. Go to hell, brat. Along with the voice, the purple qilin roared and pounced on Lin Xian. The heat from the flames burned black holes in the void. Is this what you get for being so arrogant? Purple flame? Ridiculous. Let me show you what a real flame qilin is. Lin Xian roared. Then, countless black flames gushed out from his body and formed a huge monster in front of him. This time it was also a qilin. It was black and ferocious. Its aura was 10 times stronger than Nan Gonghao's. The huge black qilin was like a peerless demon. It looked down and slapped Nan Gonghao's purple qilin into powder. Puff! Nan Gonghao was severely injured. He spat out blood and knelt on the ground. No, impossible. He could not believe that Lin Xian had used the same move as him. Moreover, Lin Xian's move was 10 times stronger than his. He was in despair. Humph! Trash! Lin Xian snorted and turned to leave. The huge black qilin disappeared quickly. However, Only a black palm was left hanging above Nan Gong Hao's head. With just a little bit of force, Nan Gong Hao would be burned to ashes. No. Feeling the terrifying aura above his head, Nan Gong Hao screamed in despair. He knew that he had been defeated. Lin Xian could easily kill him. He didn't know who the other party was to have such power, but he knew that he had to survive. No, you can't kill me. I'm a genius of the Divine Pill Hall. If you kill me, the Divine Pill Hall won't let you off. Lin Xian snorted coldly and ignored him. Then, with a flash, he appeared in front of Blood Hand again. Blood Demon King, come out! Blood Hand's face was ferocious as he shouted with all his might. He knew that it was too late to say anything now. He could only fight with everything he had to survive. Therefore, he did not hesitate to summon his martial soul. Blood chi surged from his body, emitting a monstrous killing intent. A figure slowly condensed from the blood river behind him. It was a blood-colored giant that was 2 meters tall. His limbs were thick and muscular, and his face was ferocious. He did not look like a human at all, but a blood demon. Because Blood Hand and Nan Gong Hao were defeated, completely defeated in their strongest and most confident domain. And Lin Xian was like a demon god, walking towards Ghost Li again. What do you want to do? Ghost Li's face was pale with fright, his heart was shocked. He gritted his teeth and coldly snorted. Good method, it is indeed a good method. I didn't expect your mastery of fire and blood to be so high. Even Blood Hand and Nan Gong Hao are not your opponents. But I do not believe that you also cultivate the soul Tao. If you have the ability, use the same method to defeat me. Ghost Li madly roared. He could already see that Lin Xian was obviously trying to attack them, but he did not believe that he would lose this time. Because he cultivated the soul Tao. He had millions of souls, and such a person's characteristics were very obvious. But the other party did not have the aura of vengeful spirits. So, he did not believe that the other party could use the same martial skill as him. In the next moment, Ghost Li roared, grabbed the white bone banner, and waved it quickly. Millions of vengeful spirits quickly whistled out. Ghosts wailed, and wolves howled. Yin Qi permeated the heaven and earth, causing people's scalps to go numb. On the huge white bone banner, countless white bone claws stretched out. It was extremely terrifying. Ghost Tao? Lin Xian coldly snorted. To be honest, he did not know this martial skill, but he had the great dragon sword spirit. It was an offensive saint technique between heaven and earth. It could evolve and simulate everything. Using the great dragon sword spirit to simulate a few vengeful spirits, it was a piece of cake for him. Chapter 1389. Soon, Lin Xian waved his hand, and a terrifying vengeful spirit appeared in his hand. As soon as the vengeful spirit appeared, it stirred up a chilly wind, causing everyone to tremble. As for Ghost Li and the rest, they all knelt in the air and bowed, as if they had met their emperor. Impossible! This is impossible! I don't believe it! Ghost Li's expression changed drastically, and even his body trembled. He did not believe that Lin Xian could summon the same spirit as him, and that spirit's aura was 10 times stronger than his. Illusion! You must be using an illusion. Ghost Li gritted his teeth, waved the white bone banner, and quickly attacked. Lin Xian snorted coldly and controlled the vengeful spirit formed by the great dragon sword soul to attack. Boom! Suddenly, Ghost Li's vengeful spirit shattered, and the white bone banner also cracked into 2. Defeated again. In an instant, the terrifying Ghost Li was defeated. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed, and the remaining 4 Sky Prides felt their scalps go numb. They looked at each other, and then quickly attacked. This time, they would definitely take the initiative. Human Face Peach Blossom Fan. Luosha shouted, and waved the fan in her hand. Suddenly, the fan expanded rapidly, and a human face formed by peach blossoms appeared on it. It was extremely strange and emitted a terrifying aura. The human face was ferocious, and it spat out a pink mist that was extremely terrifying and corrosive. As soon as it appeared, black holes were burned in the void. Even a ninth heaven supremacy would be turned into a pool of pus if they touched it. The mist formed a ray of light that shot towards Lin Xian. Soul Extinguishing Spear. Daluo Sword Technique. A black spear, a sharp sword light, and an extremely terrifying saber light shot towards Lin Xian. The black spear was powerful enough to extinguish souls, and it could extinguish the souls of others. The sword light was even more dazzling, and it was golden all over. It was as heavy as 10,000 pieces of gold, and it was like a golden mountain that came crashing down. Shadowless also slashed out a saber light. He did not assassinate at close range, but attacked directly. That blade light was dazzling like a shooting star. Moreover, it was swift and fierce to the extreme. That killing intent was not the slightest bit weaker than blood hands. Moreover, it was soundless and impossible to guard against. The 4 attacks were incomparably terrifying. They were all the absolute arts of the 4 people. Lin Xian coldly snorted and waved his arms rapidly. Suddenly, a black spear appeared in his hand. With a thrust of the spear, the terrifying spear light was as sharp as a black dragon. Furthermore, there was an extremely powerful soul power entwined around it. Soul Extinguishing Spear. He had used the Great Dragon Sword technique to create this spear. What? That's impossible. How did you do it? Feng Hudi's beautiful face lost all color, and her face was full of shock. Not only that, Lin Xian waved his arm again, and a golden sword light, like an ancient demonic mountain, pierced through the sky and covered the entire space with a layer of gold. The Daluo sword technique was exactly the same, and it was even more terrifying than Gu Yuan's. What? That's impossible! Gu Yuan screamed. A ray of light flew out from Lin Xian's fingertip. Like the Milky Way, it instantly split the entire void into 2. Windless slash. Shadowless's pupils shrank. He did not expect his absolute art to appear in the hands of others. That was not the end. Lin Xian used his spiritual power to form a folding fan and slapped it forward. The power of the human-faced peach blossom fan was 10 times stronger than Yu Luocha's. That's impossible. Yu Luocha was extremely shocked and could not believe it. That was her absolute art. But it was actually used by the other party. Furthermore, the power was even more terrifying than what they had used. Although they had seen Ling Xian's technique before, they still could not believe it when they saw it again. The so-called absolute art was naturally something that only they knew. Others could not grasp it at all. However, the other party could use it. Not only did it look the same, but its power was even more terrifying. They could not understand what kind of technique was used to achieve this. Boom, 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 boom. Their attacks were instantly broken, and the 4 of them were heavily injured and fell to the ground. In an instant, the 7 Sky Prides were defeated once again. This time, they were all heavily injured. Lin Xian waved his hand again. Immediately, 4 terrifying palms appeared and pressed on the Sky Prides of those people. Brat, you dare to touch me? I will make you wish you were dead. Yu Luocha screamed. She had never been threatened like this before. The corner of Shadowless's mouth twitched, and his expression turned ugly. Similarly, Feng Hudi snorted coldly. Gu Yuan knelt on the ground and begged loudly for mercy. I beg you, don't kill me. Don't kill me. I didn't mean to target you previously. Now, I apologize to you. Please let me go. The last person, Gu Yuan, began to beg for mercy. When the surrounding warriors saw this scene, they all had different expressions. Some shook their heads, some felt pity, and some sneered. They did not expect Gu Yuan to kneel and beg for mercy. In the sky, Elder Ling, whose expression was also ugly. As for the city lord, who was hiding in the dark, he snorted coldly in his heart. Lin Xian ignored the threats and curses of those sky prides. He slowly raised his palm and was about to land it. Nangong Haoqi's face was pale and filled with despair. He had never expected that he would die here one day. However, at this critical moment, the ground suddenly began to tremble. It was as if there was an earthquake, or as if thousands of soldiers and horses had arrived. What's going on? The surrounding warriors were shocked. They did not know what had happened. Lin Xian also frowned and did not continue to attack those 7 people. This made the 7 of them heave a sigh of relief. At the same time, hope rose in their hearts. That's great. As long as we can delay for a while, the hall masters of their respective halls will arrive. By then, they will be safe. Humph, brat, just you wait. When our hall masters arrive, they will definitely kill you. I will make you wish you were dead. Nangong Haoqi and the others roared in their hearts. Lin Xian turned around and looked into the distance. His gaze was like 2 rays of sword light that pierced through the void. Soon, the crowd understood what had happened. This was because countless figures were flying towards them at high speed. These people were dressed in black robes and had blood-red hair. Their faces were ferocious, and each of them had a strong, murderous aura. They were like death gods. Shura Hall, the Shura Hall's army is here, the crowd exclaimed in horror. They did not expect the Shura Hall to arrive at this critical moment. It's over. It looks like the Shura Hall is here for revenge. That's for sure. The Shura Hall lost 3 elders and more than 10 disciples. They have also lost their reputation. No matter what, they will not take this lying down. But that Hua Wufeng is not simple either. Those 7 sky prides were no match for him. I wonder if the Shura Hall can subdue him. Are you stupid? No matter how powerful those sky prides are, there are only 7 of them. The Shura Hall has brought hundreds of experts this time. Even their hall master is here. With such strength, they can definitely kill that brat. Chapter 1390. In the distance, Nangong Hao, Bloodhand, and the others who were kneeling on the ground were overjoyed when they saw the Azura Hall. With the Azura Hall's help, they could definitely kill them. Even if they couldn't kill them, they could at least buy some time for their hall master to arrive. Therefore, they didn't say anything and just watched the scene with excitement. Boom, boom, boom. The Azura army arrived, and countless cold gazes swept across the area. When they saw the miserable state of Nangong Hao and the others, they were stunned for a moment. However, they quickly swept past them and stared at Lin Xian. "You're that Hua Wufeng?" a tall young man asked coldly. He was the Azura Hall's prodigy and the First Division master, Ming Xiao. On the other hand, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and sneered as he looked at the black mass of people before him. What's the matter? Killing the old redhead actually provoked so many redheads. Are you all here for revenge? Impudent, you're courting death. Slap him. Kid, you're courting death. The Azura Hall's martial artists roared. The surrounding martial artists' mouths twitched. Perhaps only Lin Xian dared to call the Azura Hall's members redheads. Kid, you killed my Azura Hall's elder, and now you're insulting my Azura Hall. You deserve to die. A burly middle-aged man with a sinister face shouted coldly. He was the Azura Hall's hall master, Venerable Azura. His voice was filled with boundless killing intent, and it quickly spread in all directions. The crowd's minds went blank, and their ears trembled. Some of the weaker ones couldn't withstand the killing intent and fainted. Terrifying, too terrifying. As expected of the Azura Hall's hall master, he was much stronger than Nangong Hao and the others of the younger generation. Nan Gong Hao and the others were only at the intermediate 9th rank, but the Azura Hall's Hall Master was at the late 9th rank. He was extremely powerful. The Azura Hall's Hall Master was comparable to the 7 prodigies from before. You want to compete with me in killing intent? You're still lacking. Get lost, Lin Xian coldly shouted. Immediately, the sound wave transformed into countless blades and swords that rushed out in all directions. The murderous aura materialized into sword chi, which swept across the sky. The terrifying sound waves directly tore the void apart. This was too terrifying. The killing intent emitted by Lin Xian was even stronger than that of the Azura Hall's Hall Master. The faces of the Azura Hall martial artists were filled with fear. Not only that, but the murderous aura swords in the sky quickly condensed into a huge killing sword, which then slashed toward the people of the Azura Hall. Boom! With a loud bang, the terrifying sword of slaughter descended. Instantly, the entire space shook violently. That terrifying murderous aura surged, as if it could destroy everything. Not good. Damn it! How dare you! Those from the Azura Hall were shocked, and the Azura Hall's Hall Master was furious. He waved his palm and quickly slapped forward. The momentum of this punch was extremely frightening. The terrifying fist directly shook the sky to the point of shattering. In the next moment, the fist collided with the sword of slaughter, and an earth-shaking sound was heard. At the point of collision, countless flashes of lightning and thunder flashed, and violent energy swept out in all directions. This aura caused the surrounding martial artists to tremble, and their bodies trembled. What was even more shocking was that the Azura Hall's Hall Master's punch did not shatter the sword of slaughter. The terrifying sword chi shone in the sky, as if it was the sword of a killing god. It was extremely sharp. What? It's nothing. How is this possible? Those from the Azura Hall were shocked, and the surrounding martial artists were in an uproar. They did not expect Lin Xian's strength to be so strong that he could contend with the Azura Hall's Hall Master. No wonder he could beat up the other Sky Prides. In the next moment, the Azura Hall's Hall Master's giant fist was slashed in half. Not only that, but the sword light did not disappear. It was still rapidly slashing toward the people of the Azura Hall. Damn it, who is this kid? He's so strong. The Azura Hall's Hall Master was shocked. Although he did not use his full strength in that punch, he still used almost 70% of his strength. Under normal circumstances, he would not be able to contend with a Sky Pride. However, Lin Xian was able to withstand it. Not only that, but Lin Xian had also slashed his fist. He had to admit that this was beyond his expectations. You're courting death. With a furious roar, the Azura Hall's Hall Master punched out again. This time, he used all his strength preparing to shatter Lin Xian's sword energy. He was not alone. The hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists behind him also roared and attacked. Palm shadows and fist forces shot up into the sky and bombarded the sword of slaughter. Boom! In the next moment, the sky exploded again. Countless energy surged, covering the entire space in an instant. Many martial artists were sent flying by the energy storm. Some of the weaker martial artists screamed in agony. The Azura Hall's martial artists retreated as a whole, leaving deep grooves in the ground. This scene was too terrifying. So many elite martial artists of the Azura Hall had attacked together, and there was even an honorable Azura among them. However, they still could not withstand Lin Xian's sword. This was too unbelievable. The honorable Azura roared, "Kid, you've angered me. I'll let you know what it means to wish you were dead." Behind him, the hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists also roared crazily, "Kid, kneel down and accept your death." Their voices vibrated, and their momentum shook the sky. The terrifying sound waves seemed to be able to overturn the entire sky. Lin Xian snorted coldly, Cut the crap. Get over here and accept your death. Formation. Azura God slaughtering formation. The Honorable Azura roared. Immediately, the hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists behind him moved quickly, forming a terrifying formation. Waves of killing intent gushed out from these people and quickly condensed in the air, forming a terrifying killing formation. This formation was extremely powerful. At this moment, it was formed by hundreds of Azura Hall's elites. It was even more powerful. Even a hall master would not be able to escape death if he entered. On the other hand, Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind. The furious dragon art in his body was circulating rapidly. His body was full of vitality, like a huge dragon. Then his palms quickly formed seals. Qiong Qi transformation. A deep voice sounded. Then, a huge figure appeared in the sky. It was the ancient beast, Qiong Qi. This was the first transformation of the 9 firmament transformations. At this moment, Lin Xian fully displayed it. His huge body was as if a real demonic beast had been reborn. It was extremely terrifying. Taking a step forward, heaven and earth shook. Then Qiong Qi's huge body moved and rushed toward the hundreds of Azura Hall's martial artists. Boom! Qiong Qi's power shook the sky and the earth. It crashed into the Azura God slaughtering formation that had just been formed. You're courting death. Destroy it, the Azura Hall's martial artists roared. However, they had underestimated Lin Xian's attack. The 9 firmament transformations was a true Earth-class cultivation technique. Moreover, Lin Xian had also used the Furious Roar art, coupled with the power of the great dragon sword soul. It could be said that it was unstoppable. Soon, the blood-colored formation that had just been formed shattered into pieces. The sound of metal breaking could be heard. Boom, boom, boom. The mountains collapsed, and the earth cracked. Countless Azura Hall's martial artists were smashed into meat paste. Even more were sent flying. In an instant, the smell of blood and screams could be heard. What? The Azura God slaughtering formation was broken? How is this possible? Everyone was shocked and did not dare to believe it. The Azura Venerable's eyes were also red. Brat, you dare to kill my Azura Hall's disciples. I will kill you. Die. A figure flew out. It was the Azura Hall's genius, Ming Xiao. Chapter 1391. What? The Azura God slaughtering array was broken? How is that possible? Everyone was shocked and didn't dare to believe it. The Azura Venerable's eyes turned red. Brat, you dared to kill my Azura Hall's disciple. I'll kill you. Die for me. A figure flew out. It was the Azura Hall's prodigy, Ming Xiao. He roared and rushed into the sky with the blood-colored spear in his hand. Azura God slaughtering spear. He thrust the spear forward, causing the wind and clouds to change. Blood-colored runes revolved around the spearhead and emitted a terrifying power. Lin Xian coldly snorted and changed his palm again. Qiong Qi changed into a sky-shaking roar. Suddenly, the huge Qiong Qi in the sky turned around and faced the Azura prodigy. Then it opened its bloody mouth and emitted a terrifying sound wave. Roar! The sound wave burst forth and quickly spread, causing the sky in front of it to explode. The blood-colored spear exploded in the terrifying sound wave and turned into countless fragments. The Azura Hall's prodigy, Ming Xiao, screamed miserably as his body was cut into countless pieces. His corpse fell, and blood dyed the sky red. A prodigy was killed just like that. What? He's dead. Nan Gong Hao and the others, who were kneeling in the distance, narrowed their eyes and had a drastic change in expression. They didn't expect that Ming Xiao, who was on the same level as them, would be killed so easily. That was the Azura Hall's prodigy. How could he dare to kill him? Ah, damn brat, I'll kill you. The The 4 elders of the Azura Hall soared into the sky like bolts of lightning, bringing with them a torrential killing intent. They were mad with anger. The other party dared to kill their Azura Hall's prodigy. It was an unforgivable crime. However, Lin Xian changed his palm again. Sky rock transformation. Golden sword. Suddenly, the sky trembled and a golden figure appeared. It was a giant bird. When it spread its wings, it covered the sky and emitted a terrifying aura. Not only that, but the golden feathers also transformed into 100,000 long swords that slashed downward. Puff, puff. In an instant, the 4 elders were cut in half. Not only that, the Azura Hall's martial artists below were also pierced by several golden swords. In an instant, all the Azura Hall martial artists were killed. The only person still alive was the Azura Hall's Hall Master, Venerable Azura. They were all wiped out. They were all wiped out in an instant? Everyone was shocked, not daring to believe what they were seeing. What kind of method was this? Is he really the disciple of the third guardian? How could this be? I'm afraid even the third protector doesn't have that kind of ability, let alone the third protector. I'm afraid that even the left and right emissaries might not be able to do it. I'm afraid that only the sect master would be able to do it. Everyone was in a daze. The Venerable Shura roared madly, "Damned brat, I'm going to kill you." His heart was bleeding. Those were the elites of his Azura Hall. He couldn't accept the fact that all of them had been killed in an instant. Perhaps, after this battle, the Azura Hall's strength would drop to 1,000 feet. They wouldn't even be able to defeat the weakest Nether Hall. And all of this was caused by this detestable brat in front of him. Therefore, he had to kill him. Die, brat. The Venerable Azura's expression was ferocious as he charged toward Lin Xian at lightning speed. Countless purple lights gushed out from his body, and his aura was extremely terrifying. Azura palm. A dazzling light burst out from his palm. The entire void could not withstand it at all. This time, he was determined to kill. Not only did he use all of his strength, but he also used the Azura Hall's ultimate technique, the Azura palm. No one of the same cultivation level dared to resist this palm. Lin Xian was as fast as lightning. He shouted coldly, then raised his arm and slashed out with his sword. Lin Xian slashed out a sword light that emitted a sharp aura. It instantly collided with the purple palm. The Venerable Azura's expression changed immediately. He had gone crazy and attacked recklessly. However, when his opponent's sword landed on his body, he regretted it very much. That was because the sword chi was too sharp and he could not withstand it at all. Therefore, in the next moment, the purple Azura palm that he unleashed was instantly cut in half. Not only that, but the sword also split his palm and severed his entire arm. Ah! The Venerable Azura screamed miserably at the sky. However, that was not the end. The sharp sword light was still descending rapidly and was about to kill him. However, at that moment, a furious roar suddenly came from the void. Stop. The voice was very loud and clear. It was like a clap of thunder that shook the void. Buzz. The long sword stopped and hung above the Venerable Azura's head. Lin Xian raised his eyebrows slightly. His gaze was like lightning as he scanned the distance. Then he said coldly, "Who are you? What do you want to say?" The void moved quickly, and a majestic figure appeared. It was a middle-aged man with tiger-like eyes and a lion-like nose. He looked very dignified. As soon as the figure appeared, Elder Ling Hu and the rest of the people from the Law Enforcement Hall quickly exclaimed, "Greetings, City Lord." "He's the City Lord of the Southern Wilderness Ancient Town." Everyone was shocked as they looked at the sky. They did not expect that the mysterious City Lord had finally appeared. Below, when Gu Yuan, who was being controlled, saw this scene, he also shouted loudly, "City Lord, hurry up and save me." Humph! The City Lord snorted coldly, and ignored him. Previously, when Gu Yuan knelt and begged for mercy, he had embarrassed the southern wilderness ancient town. How could he save him? Moreover, he was doing this to save the venerable Azura. Hence he quickly said, "You can't kill him." "Can't kill him?" Lin Xian sneered. "Give me a reason." "Because he's the hall master of the Azura Hall." "Nonsense. Of course, I know that he's the hall master of the Azura Hall. However, that's not a reason to not kill him." The hall master of the Azura Hall said, in a ferocious voice, "Kid, you really want me to kill him? When the time comes, I'm afraid even the third law won't be able to protect you. The sacred sect will definitely not let you go. Hua Wufeng, did you hear that? Hurry up and release the venerable Azura. Everything can still be discussed. Don't make a big mistake. Otherwise, it'll be too late for regrets." The city lord said coldly, "That's what you want to say? It seems like you can't give any other reason. In that case, get lost. You." The city lord was furious. His face darkened. No one had ever dared to treat him like this. However, before he could get angry, he was stunned. This was because Lin Xian, who was in front of him, waved his arm. The sword light directly slashed down and split the venerable Azura in half. Bang! The hall master of the Azura Hall was killed. His corpse fell to the ground, and his blood dyed the sky red. "What? The hall master of the Azura Hall is dead." Everyone was shocked and could not believe it. That was the hall master of the Azura Hall. He was an extremely important figure. Even the four great protectors did not dare to kill him easily. However, now a 20-year-old young man had killed the hall master of the Azura Hall. This was the rhythm of breaking through the sky. Now, there was no need for the Azura Hall to take revenge. The Black Dragon sect alone would not let Lin Xian go. Chapter 1392. In the distance, Nangong Hao, Xue Shou, and the others were in despair. They didn't expect the other party to be so bold as to kill the hall master. This made them extremely terrified. With the other party's way of doing things, he would definitely kill the 7 of them if he had the time. "Hall master, please come quickly." Nangong Hao and the others quickly prayed in their hearts. The city lord's face was extremely gloomy. He didn't expect the other party to really kill him. Moreover, the thing that he had been guessing for a long time was now clear. "You're too bold. No one dares to be so bold. At least not the disciples of the sacred religion." The city lord's voice was cold. "You're not the third guardian's disciple. Who are you?" "He's not the third guardian's disciple?" everyone exclaimed. They didn't expect the situation to change like this. For a moment, everyone looked at the sky and stared at Lin Xian. "Who are you? What's your purpose in coming to my southern wasteland ancient array?" The city lord's eyes were piercingly cold. A powerful aura was released from his body, making him look like a god of war. However, Lin Xian only sneered. He stretched out his index finger and pointed forward. Void, shattering finger. A streak of purple light shot out like a ghost. "You're courting death. How dare you attack?" The city lord was furious. He was about to counterattack, but in the next moment, his body trembled and his pupils dilated. A stream of blood flowed down from his forehead. "No, impossible." The city lord opened his eyes wide and said a few words with difficulty. Then his neck tilted, and he fell from the sky. Boom. The ground trembled and dust flew. The city lord's body didn't stand up again. "What? He's dead?" Everyone was shocked. The enforcers were even more terrified. Among them, Elder Linghu quickly moved and came near the city lord's body. He quickly checked and then gasped. He was really dead. There was a finger-sized hole in the city lord's forehead. Black blood flowed out from it. This was the power of Lin Xian's void-shattering finger. "What? The city lord is dead." He was killed by one finger. Everyone was shocked and couldn't believe it. Previously, the venerable Ahura had resisted for a while before he was killed. However, the city lord had been killed with a single finger. He didn't even have the chance to resist. Impossible! This can't be true. The people from the city lord's mansion shook their heads frantically, not daring to believe it. On the other hand, Elder Linghu and the others were horrified. They looked at Lin Xian with fear in their hearts, not daring to take revenge. Lin Xian snorted, then turned around and looked at the 7 people kneeling on the ground. Feeling Lin Xian's gaze, Nan Gonghao and the others trembled in fear. Before this, they were furious and wanted to take revenge. But now, after witnessing the scene of Lin Xian killing the Ahura Hall Master and Southern Wasteland City Lord with their own eyes, they were completely dumbfounded. They had never heard of such a method before. It was simply not something they could imagine. It should be known that even if they were to join forces, they might not necessarily be able to kill the Ahura Hall's Hall Master. Yet, the Ahura Hall's Hall Master had done so easily. What was even more shocking was that the other party had killed the Southern Wasteland City Lord, whose cultivation wasn't any weaker than the Ahura Hall's Hall Master, with a single finger. Such a method was too horrifying, making it impossible for them to resist. "I beg you, don't kill me. Spare me. I beg you, spare me. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I apologize for what happened before. Please let me go." At this moment, the Sky Prides were all kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. No one dared to say anything. They didn't want to think about anything else now. They just wanted to save their own lives. Lin Xian snorted. These people were from the Black Dragon sect. Their hands were stained with the blood of innocent people. How could he let them go? He raised his hand and was about to kill the 7 people. However, at this moment, another angry roar came from afar. "Who dares to touch the people of the Blood Evil Hall? How dare you? Let my disciple go." 2 cold shouts were heard. Then 2 figures appeared in the sky like lightning. The 2 figures were too fast. In an instant, they were in front of the crowd. When the crowd saw them, they immediately cried out in surprise. Nan Gonghao and Blood Rogue, who were kneeling on the ground, cried out loudly, "Master, Hall Master, save me." It turned out that the 2 of them were the Hall Masters of the Divine Pill Hall and the Blood Evil Hall. They didn't expect them to come personally. The Hall Master of the Divine Pill Hall was an old man. He wasn't tall and wore a white robe. However, his eyes were as sharp as a divine eagle's. His body exuded a terrifying aura. He was more powerful than the governor of the Southern Desolation ancient town, and the Ahura Honorable from the Ahura Hall. He was the Hall Master of the Divine Pill Hall, known as the Divine Pill Honorable. Beside him was a middle-aged man. He was tall and had a powerful aura. He wore a bright red robe with blood flowing on it. It was shining brightly. This person had a murderous aura, as if he was a bloody devil. He was the Hall Master of the Blood Evil Hall, the Blood Evil Honorable. His aura was several times more powerful than Blood Rogue's. Divine Pill Honorable, Blood Evil Honorable. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect 2 Hall Masters to appear. It's over. Hua Wufeng is in danger. That's right. With the 2 Hall Masters taking action, their strength can be considered heaven-defying. Looks like Nan Gonghao and Blood Rogue's lives are saved. Just as the crowd was discussing, 2 angry shouts came from afar. "Kid, how dare you touch the people of the Evil Ghost Hall? You must be tired of living. Humph! How dare you touch the people of the Pink family? Kneel down and accept your death." Hearing the 2 shouts, the crowd was shocked again. Ghost Li and Yuluo Sha, who were kneeling on the ground, were overjoyed. "Hall Master, Master, save me." Shush, shush. 2 figures appeared in front of the crowd. They stood in the void. Their powerful aura shrouded the area, and invisible killing intent filled the air. The evil ghost, Honorable. The pink Honorable. The crowd was shocked. They couldn't believe it. The scene was too shocking. The person on the left was a middle-aged man. He was skinny and wore a huge black robe that covered his entire body. He wore a black robe on his head as well. His face couldn't be seen clearly. However, one could occasionally see two balls of flames dancing in his eyes. On his shoulders, there were two hideous ghost heads that gave off a cold and terrifying aura. In his hand, there was a white bone magic staff. When he waved it casually, countless ghost shadows and vengeful spirits surrounded it. That aura was enough to make anyone who saw it feel despair. He was the hall master of the evil ghost hall, the evil ghost Honorable. The person on the right was a middle-aged woman. She looked to be in her 40s. However, there were no signs of aging on her face. Her skin was as smooth as a baby's. Not only that, she had a mature aura. She was like a blossoming peach blossom. Her every move was filled with charm. This woman was the head of the pink aristocratic family. However, at this moment, her eyes were filled with malice as she glared at Lin Xian and shouted, "Kid, how dare you touch my people? Kneel down and accept your death." Lin Xian lifted his head and looked at the people in the sky. His eyes flashed. 4 hall masters? Interesting. However, it's not enough. Chapter 1393. Lin Xian raised his head slightly and looked at the people in the sky. His eyes flickered. 4 hall leaders? That's interesting. But it's not enough. Hearing that, everyone's mouth twitched and their scalps went numb. 4 hall leaders are not enough? Is this kid crazy? The 4 hall leaders in the sky shouted coldly and were about to attack. However, at that moment, another angry shout came from behind. Then, 2 bolts of lightning came quickly. Instantly, Foam Hudi and Shadowless started shouting as well. 2 more hall leaders. Everyone exclaimed and felt dizzy. That's right. 2 more figures appeared in the sky. They were the Black Wind Hall leader and the Assassination Hall leader. The Black Wind Hall leader was a middle-aged man in black armor. He also held a black spear, but his aura was many times stronger than Foam Hudi's. The Assassination Hall leader was an old man. He looked ordinary and expressionless, as if he was an ordinary person. However, no one dared to look down on him because he could assassinate a guardian. Apart from Gu Yuan, who was in despair, the rest of the supreme talents who were kneeling on the ground were overjoyed because their elders and hall leaders were all here. The hall leaders gathered in the sky and locked their eyes on Lin Xian. They did not hide their cold, murderous intent. Any one of the 6 hall leaders could dominate an area and make countless people crawl. However, at this moment, the 6 of them were even more terrifying. No one could fight against them, not to mention Lin Xian. Even the 3rd guardian might not be able to fight against them. Master, that kid got 3 mysterious crystals. Take him down quickly. Nan Gonghao shouted crazily from below. Yes, not only did he steal my mysterious crystals, but he also stole the Blood Soul Stone. We must kill him. Yu Luosha screamed. He stole 3 mysterious crystals and a Blood Soul Stone. Hearing that, the 6 hall leaders in the sky looked fervent. Kid, kneel down and hand over the mysterious crystals and the Blood Soul Stone. I can give you a quick death. Let him go. Young man, I advise you not to make a mistake. Although you are strong, you can't fight against the 6 of us. Hand it over or die. The 6 hall masters were like 6 huge mountains pressing down on the sky, making it hard for people to breathe. The surrounding martial artists were pale, and their bodies were on the verge of collapse. In front of the 6 massive auras, they were like ants, unable to resist at all. However, Lin Xian's expression remained the same, and there was even a hint of disdain at the corner of his mouth. He ignored the 6 people and turned to look at Nan Gong Hao and the others. "Brat, hurry up and let her go, or you're dead. Hand over the mysterious crystal, and I can spare your life. I will return the pain I suffered 100-fold. Nan Gong Hao and the others roared crazily with ferocious faces. Nan Gong Hao, Blood Hand, and the others roared madly. They were no longer afraid. "What? You think you can be so arrogant just because 6 hall masters are here? Have you forgotten your own situation?" Lin Xian looked at Nan Gong Hao and the others and harumphed coldly. "Brat, I advise you to be sensible. Quickly surrender and obediently allow yourself to be captured. I admit that you're strong, but in the face of 6 hall masters, you can't fight back at all. Surrender, and I can spare your life." The 7 people who were kneeling on the ground sneered. "Idiots, not to mention the 6 hall masters. Even if the 6 challenger-level experts were here, they wouldn't be able to save you. No one can stop me from killing someone if I want to." Lin Xian stopped smiling and waved his hand. Instantly, the light palms floating above Nan Gong Hao and the others slammed down. "How dare you? No. Master, save me!" Blood Hand, Ghost Li, and the others screamed madly, their faces full of despair. They didn't expect Lin Xian to really dare to attack them. Impossible! How dare he do it? Isn't he afraid of the revenge of the 6 hall masters? However, they definitely didn't know what would happen to Lin Xian, because when the 7 light palms landed, the 7 sky prides who were kneeling on the ground were instantly smashed into a bloody mist. Boom! Their bodies exploded, their flesh and blood splattered everywhere, and their bones shattered into pieces. Seeing the scene, everyone was dumbfounded. Their minds went blank, and they couldn't believe it. As for the 6 hall masters in the sky, their pupils abruptly shrank. To be honest, they were also dumbfounded, because they couldn't believe that the other party would attack them. One should know that they were the 6 hall masters. In the face of such an attack, even the protectors couldn't do anything, let alone a young boy. However, the other party still attacked without any hesitation. Good, boy, I've underestimated you." The Divine Pill Honorable laughed out of anger. "Boy, how dare you? However, since you dared to kill the people of the Blood Fiend Hall, your end will be extremely miserable." The Blood Fiend Honorable's expression was ferocious. "Brat, I won't let you die so easily. I'm going to capture you and torture you alive for 49 days. I'll let you die in endless despair." The Pink Honorable's face was pale, and her body was trembling with anger. In the next moment, the 6 hall masters were completely enraged. They swore that they would capture Lin Xian and let him know what regret was. Lin Xian's black hair fluttered in the wind as he looked up to the sky and laughed. 6 hall masters? Good. Together with the dead Shura Hall Master and the Nether Hall Master, the 8 Hall Masters of the Black Dragon Sect are gathered. I was thinking about how to find you, but I didn't expect that you would come to me obediently. Since that's the case, I'll personally send you on your way. What did you say? What Shura Hall Master and Nether Hall Master? Black Dragon Sect? How dare you call them Black Dragon Sect? Who are you? When the 6 Hall Masters heard Lin Xian's words, they were stunned and their brows furrowed. They knew that the Shura Honorable was dead, but what about the Nether Honorable? They didn't have any news about the Nether Hall. And now, the other party mentioned that the Nether Hall Master was also killed. Damn guy. I'm afraid he's not from the Black Dragon Sect. Let's capture him quickly and see who he is. Kill. The Blood Fiend Honorable roared, and his blood chi surged to the sky. Then countless blood-red runes surrounded his fingertips. Suddenly, a huge blood-red light palm covered the sky and grabbed at Lin Xian. Boom, boom, boom. The palm slammed down, and the space in front of him collapsed, forming a terrifying black hole. However, Lin Xian's figure still disappeared. What fast speed! The blood fiend Honorable frowned. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so fast that he could dodge his attack. Be careful, this guy is not weak, the Black Wind Honorable said in a deep voice. When they came, they already knew that Lin Xian had killed the Shura Honorable and the city governor. Therefore, they didn't let their guard down. However, they still underestimated Lin Xian's strength. At this moment, Lin Xian didn't have any intention of hiding his identity. Since the remaining 6 hall masters were gathered here, he naturally had to deal with them together. Chapter 1394. Whoosh! A gust of wind swept across, and Lin Xian's figure instantly appeared in front of the 6 of them. In the next moment, he drew out the Lone Star Sword, and a terrifying sword intent burst out from his body. With a slash of the sword, heaven and earth shook. With a clang, the huge bloody palm in the sky was split into 2 halves, and an endless amount of blood splattered everywhere. "You're courting death," Venerable Blood Demon roared, and let out a miserable scream. Then, an endless amount of bloody light burst out from his body, covering the entire sky. However, just as the aura reached its peak, it stopped abruptly. Puff! Venerable Blood Demon's head flew up, and blood spurted out. His face was filled with horror. Even until his death, he could not believe that his opponent could kill him with a single slash. What? He was killed with a single slash? That's impossible. When the remaining 5 Venerables saw this scene, their pupils suddenly shrank. Damn it! Let's join forces. This guy is hiding his strength. The Divine Core Venerable roared, crazily. He felt a chill in his heart because he realized that he had underestimated his opponent's strength. With his means, his opponent was definitely not weaker than the Guardians and had reached the peak of level 9. They were no match for him in a one-on-one fight, so they had to join forces to kill him. However, just as the Divine Core Venerable finished shouting, he encountered a big problem. A phoenix bathed in black flames flew out from Lin Xian's palm and pounced on him quickly. "You're courting death. Get lost!" The Divine Core Venerable roared angrily as he struck out with both of his palms. Endless flames also came out from his palms, forming a row of fire walls. He was very confident in competing with flames. His flames were extraordinary, and they were even more powerful than the fire spirit. However, in the next moment, he let out a miserable scream because the fire walls and fireballs that he had created were all burned up in an instant. On the other hand, his opponent's black phoenix was safe and sound, and it enveloped him in an instant. Damn it! What kind of flame is this? How can it be so terrifying? The Divine Core Venerable was terrified as he screamed. He realized that this flame was not any weaker than his sect masters. After 2 miserable screams, the Divine Core Venerable was burned into ashes. What? The Divine Core Venerable is also dead. The 4 hall masters felt a chill in their hearts, and their faces turned ugly. In just an instant, they had lost 2 hall masters. This was something they simply could not accept. As for the Black Dragon Church's disciples below, they were all stunned. They did not dare to believe their eyes. That was a hall master, an existence that they could only look up to. But now, he was being slaughtered like a dog. This kind of huge contrast gave them an infinite shock. He is definitely not the disciple of the Third Protector. Who is he? Damn it, this kid's strength has already surpassed the Third Protector. By now, everyone understood that this person was definitely not Hua Wufeng, nor was he the disciple of the Third Guardian. If they were disciples of the saint, they wouldn't dare to kill so many hall masters at the same time, no matter how arrogant they were. Capture his companions. We can't beat him, but can we capture his companions? Below, the Divine Pill Hall and Blood Fiend Scattering Hall's martial artists roared madly. They wanted to capture Lin Xian's companions and threaten Lin Xian. Suddenly, nearly 100 martial artists rushed madly towards Murong Qingcheng and Luo Bingshan. In the sky, even the king of assassins, the honorable assassin, made his move. This was because he had also heard the news that Lin Xian had attacked the Azura Hall. It was because someone had humiliated the purple-clothed woman that a series of tragedies had occurred. Therefore, at this moment, he was eager to capture Murong Qingcheng so that he could be captured quickly. The elite martial artists of the Blood Fiend Hall, Divine Pill Hall, and Malicious Spirit Hall all rushed towards Murong Qingcheng and Luo Bingshan. According to their thinking, as long as they captured the two women, Lin Xian in the sky would definitely surrender. However, they were too naive. Looking at the martial artists rushing towards him, Luo Bingshan snorted coldly and pulled out the long saber at his waist. Whoosh! Saber radiance flashed and filled the surroundings. With a slash of the saber, the terrifying saber radiance was like a vast galaxy, enveloping the surroundings. Puffed, 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 puffed. Several heads flew up. Hundreds of martial artists were killed in an instant. Impossible! How can he be so strong? Everyone was frightened and quickly retreated. They did not dare to move forward. Careless. They were too careless. They thought that the two women by Lin Xian's side would be easy to capture because they did not have much strength. However, they did not expect Luo Bingshan to be so strong. Looking at the power of his saber, it was not any weaker than the Hall Masters. This was natural. Luo Bingshan was a peak 9th layer venerable and had the strength to assassinate half-step kings. In front of him, these people were simply not enough. Murong Qingcheng also snorted coldly. She raised her lily-white hand and pressed it towards the void behind her. Puff! A figure appeared from the void. His body kept retreating, and his face was filled with horror. He was the Hall Master of the Assassination Hall, Venerable Assassination. He originally wanted to capture Murong Qingcheng, but he did not expect her to be so strong and discover his existence in an instant. That terrifying palm made him feel suffocated. This was an existence that he could not contend with. Venerable Assassination was so scared that his scalp went numb. He could feel that the purple-clothed woman in front of him was far stronger than him. Even the protector was no match for her. I have to run. He was scared out of his wits. This was too terrifying. The two women and one man in front of him were far stronger than him. Any one of them could easily defeat him. The appearance of such a strong person in his Black Dragon sect was definitely a disaster. He had to report this to the sect master. Humph! Murong Qingcheng snorted lightly. The other party dared to assassinate her. He was courting death. She waved her lily-white hand. Suddenly, a purple light shone brightly. A purple cloud like a saber cut the Venerable Assassination in half. What? The Venerable Assassination is also dead. Seeing this scene, everyone screamed in fear and fled in all directions. The remaining 3 Hall Masters in the sky also felt their scalps go numb. Their faces were full of fear. Stop! No more fighting! No more fighting! The 3 hurriedly shook their heads. It was a misunderstanding. Everything before was a misunderstanding. Since you have already obtained the mysterious crystal, we will not snatch it from you and will not attack you. You can leave if you want to. We will not stop you. Venerable Pink also quickly shook his head. Now they were no longer as arrogant as before. Instead, they were terrified and could not wait to escape. What a joke! In the blink of an eye, half of their Hall Masters were dead. The remaining 3 were naturally no match for Murong Qingcheng. However, Lin Xian shook his head coldly. kneel down and count out 10 times. Then I will consider taking you as my slaves. Otherwise, only death awaits you. What boy? You are courting death. The hall master of the malicious spirit hall was ferocious. The other two hall masters also looked terrible. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. Count out 10 times? Become slaves? What a joke! Although they could not defeat Morong Chingsheng, they would not accept such a condition. Chapter 1395. Lin Xian shook his head coldly. Kneel down and count out 10 times, and I'll consider keeping you as my slaves. Otherwise, you'll die. What, kid? You're courting death. The malicious spirit hall master looked ferocious. The other two hall masters also looked terrible, and their eyes were filled with killing intent. Count out 10 times? Become slaves? What a joke! Although they couldn't defeat him, they wouldn't accept such a condition. Kid, don't be so arrogant. If you push me too far, we'll fight to the death. Humph. Even if we die together, I won't agree to your request. The Black Wind Venerable snorted. Don't talk nonsense with him. Let's fight. Then the three of them quickly burned their spiritual energy and released a powerful aura, raising their combat strength to the peak of LV9. This was the secret technique of the Black Dragon sect, which could increase their strength in times of crisis to save their lives. However, after that, they would suffer a severe backlash. But in the face of danger, they couldn't care less about that. They had to kill Lin Xian first. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. The three of them greatly increased their strength to the peak of LV9 and surrounded Lin Xian, King of Ghosts. The malicious spirit Venerable snorted and quickly waved the white bone staff in his hand. Suddenly, countless malicious ghosts and vengeful spirits rushed out and formed a ghost king. Heaven-destroying, earth-exterminating spear. The Black Wind Venerable roared, and the long spear in his hand rushed out like a raging dragon. Aurora slash. The Pink Venerable also pulled out a treasured saber, held it in her hand, and quickly slashed out 18 times. The terrifying saber radiance was terrifying. The three hall masters burned their spiritual energy and attacked without caring about the consequences, releasing unparalleled strength. Lin Xian snorted and quickly activated the astral armor. Suddenly, a set of blue armor appeared and covered his body, revealing only a pair of cold eyes. His palms kept changing as he shouted, 9 changes of the firmament, 9-headed snakelet transformation. The void fluctuated, and a huge monster rose from the ground. This monster was extremely terrifying. It had 9 heads, and each of them was extremely ferocious. The murderous aura on it was as if the Demon King was reborn. Ancient vicious beast, 9-headed snakelet, it was extremely brutal. This was the 5th transformation of the 9 transformations of the firmament. At this moment, it was executed by Lin Xian. It could be said to be extremely terrifying. The 9-headed snakelet swung its 9 gigantic heads. 3 of them roared angrily, spewing out flames, lightning, and hailstones. Immediately, they bombarded the attacks of the 3 hall masters in the sky. Rumble. The void trembled as energy exploded. Violent energy swept out in all directions. This energy was too violent. Even the hall master found it hard to resist. Instantly, the 3 hall masters were blasted back. Lin Xian, on the other hand, remained as still as a mountain. He activated the cosmic battle armor to the extreme. This battle armor could defend against 7 layers of damage. Therefore, even if this energy was violent, he could still withstand it. Joing, go. Lin Xian's body moved like lightning. He controlled the huge 9-headed snakelet and quickly counterattacked. Immediately, The other three heads roared ferociously and turned into demonic hands, biting toward the three hall masters. The three heads moved as fast as lightning and appeared in front of the hall master in an instant. They opened their bloody mouths, and their sharp teeth bit through the hall master's armor. No, I won't die. Damn it. Get lost. Brat, you dare to kill me? The pink aristocratic family will not let you off. Shrill cries rang out. However, in the next moment, the bodies of the three hall masters suddenly split open and were bitten into countless pieces. At this point, the 7 supreme talents and 6 hall masters were completely annihilated. Not a single one of them survived. What? They're all dead. Impossible. I don't believe it. Below, the martial artists of the Black Dragon sect were horrified and filled with despair. 6 hall masters, including the Azura hall master and the Southern Wilderness City governor. There were 8 people at the level of hall masters. They were the most solid force of the Black Dragon sect. However, at this moment, they had been completely annihilated. This was definitely going to pierce through the sky. The Black Dragon sect would definitely be infuriated and retaliate crazily. However, Lin Xian did not care about this at all. He stood in the sky and looked down at the martial artists of the Black Dragon sect who were escaping below. His face was extremely cold, after which he activated his ice martial soul. Countless cold air spread out and quickly shrouded the area below. Ka. Below, the Southern Wilderness ancient town quickly formed ice. In an instant, a frozen ancient town was formed, and all the buildings and martial artists were frozen inside. In the next moment, Lin Xian called out to Murong Qingcheng, the falling ice mountain, and the Crimson Dragon. The group flew into the sky. Only the frozen ancient town was left, shining with cold light under the sun. Soon Lin Xian and the group left the place and arrived at the spirit boat high in the sky. Then the Crimson Dragon drove the spirit boat and left the Southern Wilderness ancient town. Lin Xian rested for a day. On the second day, he took out the Blood Soul Stone and quickly absorbed it to increase his blood chi and soul power. This time, he had killed so many hall masters and martial artists of the Black Dragon sect. The Black Dragon sect would definitely go crazy and hunt them down. Therefore, he had to increase his strength to deal with the danger when the time came. The others were fine, but the Black Dragon sect's leader was a king. He was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian thought as he absorbed the Blood Soul Stone. This Blood Soul Stone was very mysterious. Lin Xian held it in his hand and absorbed it continuously. The blood chi in his body was rolling like a big furnace, making rumbling sounds. Even outside the room, there was a red light shining. That was the sign of Lin Xian's vigorous blood chi. His soul power was also increasing bit by bit. He tried the 6th diagram of the sky spill visualization diagram. Although he did not succeed, he had made great progress compared to before. After cultivating for a day, Lin Xian adjusted his state to the peak. Then he called the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingcheng, and Luo Bingshan. The 4 sat together. Then Lin Xian took out the 3 mysterious crystals he had obtained. Look, do you recognize these things? Murong Qingcheng, Crimson Dragon, and Luo Bingshan were very curious. Each of them picked up a mysterious crystal and carefully examined it. Such rich energy. The Crimson Dragon's eyes lit up. His mouth was so wide that it reached his ears. Murong Qingcheng was also surprised. No wonder those people's cultivation could increase so much. It seemed that this mysterious crystal was indeed extraordinary. It actually contained such rich energy. Luo Bingshan was also moved. She thought carefully for a moment, then shook her head slightly. I've never seen this thing before. Moreover, it shouldn't be in the Tianmu continent. Otherwise, it would have been discovered long ago. Kid, you have 3. Why don't you give them all to me? And Hong Dragon God was reluctant to let go. You dare to absorb this energy? Aren't you afraid of the side effects? Lin Xian asked, didn't you say that if you found these mysterious crystals, you would be able to unlock the secret of the demon abyss? Hearing this, the Crimson Dragon pondered for a moment, then said slowly, these mysterious crystals shouldn't have been taken from the demon abyss. They were man-made. What? You said they were man-made? What's with the demon abyss? Lin Xian was even more confused. Chapter 1396. Kid, let's put it this way. I've heard of this crystal before. It's called the Subdivine Crystal. It contains a terrifying amount of energy, but it's only for people above the king realm. The Subdivine Crystal is very mysterious. It can strengthen the king realm and make it evolve. That's why it's so precious. And this mysterious crystal has very little of this energy. It's obviously diluted. So, I guess that the Black Dragon sect must have obtained the Subdivine Crystal. But they used the Subdivine Crystal to create countless energy crystals, which are the stones in your hands. These stones are useless to king realm people, but if people below the king realm absorb them, they can greatly increase their cultivation. That's why there are so many venerables in the Black Dragon sect. So, you're saying that the treasure in the Devil Abyss is the Subdivine Crystal? Lin Xian asked. That's right. It's definitely the Subdivine Crystal. If this news spread to the Sky Martial Continent, it would definitely make the House of Kings go crazy. Lin Xian was shocked. Then he frowned. If the Black Dragon sect's leader obtained the Subdivine Crystal, wouldn't his strength increase greatly? No, he had to enter the Devil Abyss and obtain the Subdivine Crystal. At least he couldn't let the Black Dragon sect get this precious thing. Then, if I absorb the energy in the crystal, will there be any side effects? Lin Xian asked. If there wasn't, he could directly absorb it and increase his cultivation. He was looking forward to it. He wondered how much he could increase after absorbing it. However, the Crimson Dragon poured cold water on him. There will be side effects. What did you say? Hearing this, Lin Xian frowned. You dare to absorb it when there are side effects? The Crimson Dragon snorted. Kid, I'm different from you. I'm a real king realm. It's just that my cultivation has dropped, but my realm is still there. But you're different. No matter how strong you are, you're just a venerables. You've never condensed a domain. Let me tell you, although absorbing the energy of the Subdivine Crystal can greatly increase the cultivation of people below the king realm, their path will come to an end, because they can't condense a king domain in their lifetime, and can't become a king realm. What? How could such a thing happen? Lin Xian was shocked. Murong Qingcheng also threw away the mysterious crystal in his hand. You don't have to be surprised. This kind of crystal is meant for kings to use. Anyone below the king level won't benefit from using it. Although one's cultivation base will immediately rise greatly after absorbing it, one's martial path will be severed. I can guarantee that after absorbing it, your strength will definitely increase greatly. However, you will never be able to condense a king's domain in this lifetime, let alone reach a higher level. Hearing this, Lin Xian fell silent. This was not what he wanted. At this time, the Crimson Dragon said again, but you don't have to be too discouraged. Although you won't be able to use it for the time being, you can keep it and use it when you become a king. Then, everything will be fine. However, it isn't very effective against king realm experts. But if it's a true subdivine crystal, then king realm experts would definitely go mad upon seeing it. So, we have to make a trip to the Devil Abyss. Lin Xian took a deep breath. In order to reach the king realm in the future, he had to make a trip to the Devil Abyss. After all, the Martial Sky continent didn't have such a thing, and other places might not have it either. It could be said that they were extremely lucky to have encountered it. Let's go to the Devil Abyss. Lin Xian tossed the 3 mysterious crystals to the Crimson Dragon for it to recover. He couldn't absorb it now, and he wouldn't need it when he became a king. So he wouldn't keep it. If he wanted to keep it, he would keep the true subdivine crystal, and not this diluted crystal. After that, the group set off towards the Devil Abyss once more. The death of the 7 Hall Masters wasn't a small matter, so it didn't take long for the Black Dragon sect to find out. For a time, the entire Black Dragon sect was shaken, and countless experts gathered to discuss it. Even the 3rd Guardian, who was in closed-door cultivation, came out ahead of time. What's going on? The 3rd Guardian was a middle-aged man. After he came out, he looked at the 2nd Guardian with a gloomy expression. Don't be in closed-door cultivation. Something big has happened in the Saint sect, and we need you there immediately, the 2nd Guardian said. Something big has happened? What is it? The 3rd Guardian asked. The Hall Masters of the 7 Halls have been killed in the Southern Desolation ancient town. Not only that, none of the martial artists in the Southern Desolation ancient town have escaped. In fact, even that city was turned into an ice crystal palace, and the murderer actually called himself Hua Wufeng, your disciple. What? Hua Wufeng? Hearing this, the 3rd Guardian was shocked. He didn't expect such a big thing to happen. However, he quickly shook his head. What a joke! How could I not know Hua Wufeng's strength? He's only an 8th level honorable, and he's even weaker than the geniuses in the hall. Not to mention killing those hall masters. Don't worry, we think so too. Someone must have impersonated Hua Wufeng, but we still need you to confirm the details. All right, let's go. The 3rd Guardian nodded, and the 2 of them left quickly. At the same time, the news of the Netherhall's destruction reached the Black Dragon sect. Instantly, the upper echelons of the Black Dragon sect were shocked again. How was it possible that an entire hall had been wiped out? One should know that the Black Dragon sect had already controlled the entire Tianan region. They could be considered an overlord, and no one dared to offend them. Even the Martial Alliance could only resort to guerrilla warfare. They didn't dare to fight them head-on. However, now, 8 of their halls had been destroyed, and they were the last to find out. This was too shocking. The other party was only a 20-year-old youth, but his combat strength was terrifying. He was at least at the Guardian's level, or even stronger. Who exactly is he? Why haven't I heard of him before? Could he be from the Martial Alliance? Impossible. If the Martial Alliance is so powerful, they would have retaliated long ago. They wouldn't have waited until now. Moreover, the Martial Alliance hasn't done anything. Could it be that a person who was lucky enough to obtain the subdivine crystal and absorb the energy inside it to become so powerful? The 3rd Guardian said in a deep voice. He was now sure that the murderer wasn't his disciple, Hua Wufeng, but someone impersonating him. That's possible. Otherwise, there's no way to explain where this powerhouse came from. What should we do? Report it. The sect leader will decide what to do. The group of elders and guardians looked solemn. However, before long, there was another shocking news. There was a mutation in the demon abyss, and a king-level beast appeared. A king-level beast. Everyone was shocked to hear that. Chapter 1397. However, it didn't take long for another shocking piece of news to spread. The demonic abyss had mutated, and a king-level demonic beast had appeared. A king-level demonic beast. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. One had to know that in the entire Tianan region, only their leader was a king-level demonic beast. However, another one had appeared. It seemed that something unexpected had happened in the mysterious demonic abyss to cause such an anomaly. Quickly report this to the leader. There's no need. The leader has already set off, and the left and right envoys have also followed. The first protector said, "What should we do? Should we go too?" The third protector asked, "For protectors, come with me. The rest of you, activate the defensive formation and guard the sect. We can't let anyone take advantage of this situation." In the past, they didn't care at all. They didn't even care about the Martial Alliance. However, it was different now. A mysterious youth with extremely strong battle strength had appeared. If they all left at this time, and the other party entered, it would definitely be an unimaginable disaster. However, as long as the formation was activated, it would be fine. This formation was personally set up by their leader. No one below the king level could break it. Soon, the four protectors moved and flew towards the Xia kingdom. On the other side, Lin Xian was also moving forward at an extremely fast speed. Of course, he still didn't know that the demonic abyss had mutated. However, something had happened during this period of time. The Crimson Dragon's cultivation had recovered to the half-step king level. This was undoubtedly good news for Lin Xian. The Crimson Dragon's breakthrough to the half-step king level was undoubtedly great news for Lin Xian. This way, their chances of entering the demonic abyss were much higher. At this time, the mysterious demonic abyss had already undergone earth-shattering changes. The surrounding 10 miles was completely covered in a layer of thick fog. Above this thick fog stood 3 figures. The figure at the front was extremely tall, more than 3 meters tall. He wore a black robe and had many black scales on his cold face. His eyes were dark green and flickered with a terrifying light. The aura on his body was extremely terrifying. It had reached a peak, causing all the venerables to tremble when they saw him. He was the leader of the Black Dragon sect, and also the only king-level demonic beast in the Tianan region. However, this was no longer the case because another king-level demonic beast had appeared below. Behind him stood 2 middle-aged men, one in a white robe and the other in a green robe. Although their auras were not comparable to that of the Black Dragon Church's sect master, they were much stronger than pinnacle 9th rank exalted experts. The 2 of them were the left and right envoys of the Black Dragon sect. They were existences second only to the Black Dragon sect's leader. At this moment, the left and right envoys stood respectfully behind him. They looked down with furrowed brows. This was because an extremely shocking aura was coming from below, causing them to feel a sense of trepidation. They knew that this was an aura that only King Tears could emit. When did the King Demonic Beast appear? At this moment, the Black Dragon cult's leader asked in a deep voice. 2 days ago, the Green Flood Dragon left envoy said that because the Nether Hall was destroyed, we received the news late. The carefree envoy of the right also asked, Sect Master, who is it that dares to kill so many of our Hall Masters? The people from the Martial League don't have such strength at all. Could it be that there are also people like the demonic beast below who obtain benefits from this mysterious demonic pit? Humph, no matter who it is, I will make them pay a painful price for daring to touch my people. The Black Dragon cult's leader snorted coldly. His words were filled with intense killing intent. As soon as he said this, the left and right envoys trembled. Countless cracks rapidly appeared in the space around them, spreading in all directions. It was too terrifying. This was the strength of a king tier. Just a cold snort was enough to cause the space to explode. If the Black Dragon cult's leader wanted to deal with a 9th rank exalted expert, he did not even need to lift a finger. He could kill them with just a look. There was no time to care about that brat now. He had to figure out the changes in the demonic pit first. Then, the Black Dragon cult's leader's body swayed and quickly descended. The left and right envoys followed closely behind. However, when they were about 3,000 meters above the ground, a deep roar suddenly came from the demonic pit below. Then, a red figure flew out from the ground quickly. Red light flashed and boundless killing intent surged. An arm that was close to 3,000 meters long rose from the ground and quickly grabbed at the Black Dragon cult's leader and the left and right envoys. This arm was too terrifying. It was like a blood-red river that instantly pierced through the space. Humph! The Black Dragon cult's leader coldly snorted and quickly grabbed forward with his hand, fiercely colliding with the red hand flying out from the ground. Immediately, an intense explosion sounded in the sky. Countless energy ripples spread out in all directions, and countless cracks appeared in the space. The ground below also cracked open, forming numerous canyons. The left and right envoys behind him were blown away by this berserk energy. They were blown away for 5,000 meters before they could stop. Damn it, what kind of monster is this? It's actually so terrifying. The two of them were shocked. With their strength as half-step kings, they were actually unable to block the energy ripples. Fortunately, their cult's leader had blocked it. Moreover, it looked like he had blocked it easily. This made them heave a sigh of relief. Their bodies swayed, and the two of them once again arrived behind the Black Dragon cult's leader. At this time, the Red Hand also rapidly retreated and confronted the Black Dragon cult's leader from afar. Not only that, a deep roar came from below from time to time. It seemed to be a warning. The two of you retreat and seal the demonic pit for me. I'll go and teach that bastard a lesson. The Black Dragon cult's leader said in a deep voice. Then his body swayed, and he transformed into a huge black dragon and rushed down. The unknown monster below also roared angrily. Once again, it waved its arm that was almost 3,000 meters long and quickly grabbed at the Black Dragon cult's leader. Immediately, a terrifying explosion sounded. Violent energy rippled out, and a storm quickly swept out in all directions. The left and right envoys looked at each other and quickly retreated. The two of them waved their hands, forming two huge light screens that sealed off the surrounding paths and prevented anyone from entering. Not long after the two of them finished, Lin Xian's spirit boat also arrived nearby. Although they had not reached the demonic pit yet, Lin Xian and the others could feel an extremely terrifying energy ripple from afar. Someone is fighting. Lin Xian frowned. This terrifying aura is far more powerful than ours. Murong Qingqing's expression was also grave. On the other hand, Anhong jumped up and said, D***M*, this is a battle between kings. Damn it, two kings. When did two kings appear? He was too shocked. Wasn't there only one Black Dragon cult's leader in the Tianan region? How come there was another one now? What? Two kings? Chapter 1398. The Crimson Dragon jumped up. D***M*, kings are fighting. D***M*, two kings. How is this possible? Since when were there two kings? It was too shocked. Wasn't there only one Black Dragon sect leader in the Tianan region who was a king? Why was there another one now? What? Two kings? Hearing this, Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Luo Bingshan were all stunned. They did not expect two kings to be fighting. No wonder there were such terrifying energy waves. What's going on? One of the energy waves is very familiar. It should be the Black Dragon sect leader. But who is fighting him? Could it be the legendary Martial Alliance? It's not human. Judging from the energy, it should be a beast. The Crimson Dragon shook its head. I think it should be a new king, but I'm not sure why. But I think it must be related to the real Subdivinity Crystal. Although they guessed the reason, their expressions did not look good. Because there were two kings fighting in front of them, they could not enter at all. With their skills, they were still unable to compete with kings. It was good enough that they could protect themselves. No, the spiritual boat can't go any further. Lin Xian stopped the spiritual boat. Roussillon, come with me. I'll go too. Murong Qingcheng and Ruo Bingshan said quickly. All right. Lin Xian did not refuse and nodded. They were only scouting the situation, so it should not be too dangerous. Then Lin Xian and the rest got off the spiritual boat. He still had the 3 5-star assassins stay on the boat and let them drive away. There was no choice. Kings were too terrifying. And there were 2 of them. If they were found, the Lin family in the spiritual boat would be in danger. Lin Xian did not dare to take this risk. Seeing the spiritual boat fly away, Lin Xian was relieved. Then his eyes flashed as he looked ahead. Everyone, hide your auras, Lin Xian said. Then he used the heaven-changing technique to hide his energy and carefully flew forward. Everyone cautiously flew towards the Devil Abyss. Not long after, they stopped because they saw a light screen in front of them that blocked their path. It seemed that someone had acted to seal the demonic abyss. The Crimson Dragon took a look and said quickly, "It's okay. It's not a king. We should be able to get through." Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he heard that. Right now, he didn't want to fight the 2 kings inside. The Crimson Dragon waved its claws and quickly broke the light curtain in front of it. Then a red light flew out and wrapped Lin Xian, Luo Bingshan, and Murong Qingcheng and quickly entered the light array. Whoosh! In the next moment, Lin Xian and the others were stunned because an intense battle was taking place in front of them. There was a black-robed man with a domineering figure. There was a black dragon phantom on his body, and there was a thick black fire around him, forming a special domain. The aura he emitted was countless times stronger than that of a venerable one. Lin Xian knew that it was the black fire domain, the so-called king's domain. That black-robed man must be the leader of the Black Dragon religion. The leader of the Black Dragon religion was fighting with 9 blood-red arms that stretched out from the demonic abyss below. Each arm was more than 3,000 meters long, like a river of blood, and they kept waving in the air. The leader of the Black Dragon religion and the 9 blood-red arms fought crazily. The terrifying energy was so vast that it could easily kill a peak stage 9. Lin Xian and the others came back to their senses and carefully floated down. Since the 2 kings were fighting, it would be convenient for them to search the demonic abyss. However, they were discovered as soon as they moved. "Who's there?" The leader of the Black Dragon religion snorted and waved his hand. Countless black dragon flames quickly gathered and formed a black palm that grabbed at Lin Xian and the others. The palm carried the power of a king, and it made one feel despair at a glance. The king demonic beast below also noticed the existence of Lin Xian and the others. It quickly waved an arm and grabbed at them. "Not good. Retreat." Lin Xian's expression changed drastically. He did not expect the king demonic beast to be so powerful that it could discover their existence in an instant. Next, he used the red lotus armor and summoned the starry armor. The 2 armors surged out and wrapped around his body. Murong Qingcheng was also covered with a layer of starry armor. The 4 of them turned into streaks of light and retreated quickly. However, the king demonic beast was too terrifying. It caught up with them with a casual attack. "Don't hesitate. Attack." The Crimson Dragon shouted coldly. Then it swung its dragon tail and launched a sharp attack. Lin Xian also formed a seal and used the 9 infants transformation. The 9 heads roared ferociously and spat out flames, lightning, hailstones, fog, and countless other attacks in front of them. Luo Bingshan's expression was cold. He held a long saber in his hand and slashed out a shocking saber light. Murong Qingcheng took out the True Phoenix Imperial Jade Seal and combined it with his bloodline power to create a purple phoenix. The 4 of them used their ultimate moves and attacked the king demonic beast. Bang! Terrifying energy exploded, and a storm of energy blasted the 4 of them, sending them flying. The Crimson Dragon was still fine. he was already a half-step king. Moreover, his life force was also at the king realm. Therefore, he only cried out in pain and did not suffer any injuries. However, Lin Xian's group was not so lucky. Lin Xian and Morong Qingcheng both had starry armor that could reduce 70% of the damage. Lin Xian even had the Red Lotus armor that could reduce 80% of the damage. However, the remaining 20% was not something they could contend with. In an instant, the two of them suffered heavy internal injuries. Luo Bingshan was even more miserable. She did not have starry armor, only a half-step earth armor. Therefore, her injuries were the most severe. In fact, she had almost died. Let's go! The Crimson Dragon's body expanded, wrapping around Lin Xian's group and rapidly retreating. Not dead? Behind them, the Black Dragon Hierarch frowned, clearly surprised by this result. It should be known that although it was just a casual attack, he was still a King Realm expert. Even Venerables could not block such an attack. However, the other party was unharmed. This was indeed beyond his expectations. What made him even more puzzled was that he felt a familiar aura from the other party. However, he could not recall it for the time being. Who the hell are those people? They are clearly only Venerables. How could they dodge my attack? The Black Dragon Hierarch's gaze was like lightning as he looked into the distance. However, he found that his vision was blocked, and he could only see a blur. In the next moment, he coldly snorted and wanted to attack again. However, he was once again entangled by the crimson monster below, and the two sides engaged in a fierce battle. Therefore, he could only send a voice transmission to the nearby left and right messengers to capture the other party. He would ask them when he had the time. When the left and right messengers received the order, their expressions changed drastically. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.